get 3 or 4 wins to propel them out the bottom, and that's not a great situation for the ones in there. Obviously 2 of the teams down there have done it already. But you look at the likes of Everton, you think, is it Frank Lampard's fault? No. Is it the owner's fault? Probably not. I think there's been
so what's going on with Everton? Because that's probably the one at the moment that seems quite toxic, I suppose, between the fans, the social media reaction around the club at the moment.
Well, because they're the biggest club down there and they believe that they shouldn't be down there and they're so passionate. That's one of the reasons why some of the other clubs half believe they shouldn't be there, but realistically with the squads that they've got, they go, yeah, we're in for a battle this year. I heard Frank Lampard say the other day, what are we expecting? What are the fans? We are where we should be because of what we've bought and what we've sold. They sold Richarlison at the end of last season, remember? Now, he got them goals. He was a mainstay for them. Then they've lost Calvert-Lewin. Now, you lose Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison from that team, any team's going to be in all sorts of trouble. If you have that firepower, that would take them up to 12, 13. There'd be no problem. The defenders that they brought in, the likes of Tarkowski and Cody, were solid signings, and Pickford behind that. So Everton haven't got a bad squad or a bad team. They're just missing that firepower in front of goal. That's what's going wrong.
Alright guys, welcome once again. Sammy SK Football here, bringing you live unique commentary stream of Leeds United versus
bad manager, or it's going wrong, or he's lost the dressing room, or anything like that.
In fairness to him, he's had this shoulder surgery that he's been coming back from, so he hasn't had, the most amount of kind of game time in the build-up to it. But when he settles in, is it a bit like Jack Grealish, and when he was, adapting to life?
I think so, but I think the thing with Grealish is that he's one of a number of front players, whereas I think it's very obvious that Phillips is Rodri's understudy. I think if we're only having one player playing in that defensive midfield role, and it's Rodri, but we can't expect Rodri to play 60 games a season, which if we're competing on all four trophies, that's roughly how many games we're going to have to play. So for me, it's about making sure that as and when we need to rest Rodri, Phillips comes in, takes his chance, and if he shines, then he gives Pep a bit of a dilemma, just as Rico Lewis has done. He's come in last week against Liverpool, played really, really well, and then tonight Pep's decided to go with him. So hoping, that Phillips, when he gets his chance, he grabs it by both hands, and then Pep's got a bit of a selection problem.
Rachel, lovely to have your thoughts on 5 Live Sport this evening. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. Enjoy the game.
I will do. Rachel Hurdson there, Manchester City fan. 8 o'clock kickoff, of course, for Leeds United against Manchester City. Our commentary game in the Scottish Premiership is Hibs against Celtic. We'll be back there as Leeds go into tonight's game in 15th place with 15 points from their 14 games. Wolves are the only team in the bottom 7 to have actually won since the Premier League restarted on Boxing Day. So, Steve, at this pivotal moment, who do you fear for going down at the end of the season?
Oh my God, that's such a tough question, isn't it? I mean, it's like the top 4. Who's going to get into top 4 at the minute? It changes every single week. I really couldn't give you an answer at the minute. I think if you looked after Forest's performance yesterday at Manchester United, they struggled. And you just looked at them and thought they're going to find it really difficult. But yet I'm looking this morning, they're going to sign players. They're going to sign more players to try and get out of the difficulties they're in. You look at Southampton, they've changed the manager and they got beat as well, trying to get a bounce from that. Wolves changed the manager, get that bounce at Everton. It's just so tight down there. What I can say at the minute is I can see Leeds, Everton, Wolves, Forest and Southampton find it out, and I can see Bournemouth maybe slipping into that sort of plight as well, just because of the squad that they've got, and hopefully they will go into the market. I can see West Ham getting out of it. I think West Ham have got far too good a squad to be anywhere near that, and I think they will pull away. I think they're in a false position. But the bottom three that are there at the minute, the thing is as well, there's only 15 games gone. So we're sitting here thinking, right, it's Christmas, half the season's gone, 19 games gone. This is where we're looking at it. It's not. It's the same at the top end. There's not even 14, 15 games gone yet. We've got to judge these teams when we sort of get to that 19 games, 20 games, and have a look and see also who's bought and who's bought decisively in the January transfer window. People are talking about buying and adding to the squad. Take it from me, it's the most difficult transfer window you'll ever try and do. It's difficult than any other league as well. You have to pay fortunes to get players who...
His first match since the World Cup final. And French football journalist Jonathan Johnson is inside Parc des Princes for us. Jonathan, a big roar in the stadium when it was announced that he was in the starting 11. Are you expecting him to pick off where he left off for the national side a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of expectation. I think that Kylian Mbappe will come back more motivated than ever to help PSG, obviously, in their pursuit of Champions League glory, but also to continue this, this unbeaten run that they have since the beginning of the season. And it's a day of good news for PSG as well. You've got Marco Verratti's contract extension until 2026 being announced as we speak. And, to have the likes of Kylian Mbappe, the likes of Neymar, the likes of Marquinhos, the likes of Achraf Hakimi, sort of back and available for the resumption of club action, is a big boost and an unexpected one as well.
And I know that PSG's manager, Christophe Galtier, has been playing down any potential issues between Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappe because of some of the antics we saw after Argentina won the World Cup. He says there is no reason to mix these things up because the goalkeeper's behaviour is down to him. Do you see anything in that, or do you think they'll just kind of carry on as good teammates?
I mean, I think I don't think it will impact them too much. In the long term, I do think maybe there will be, some awkward conversation at first about it, and what was seen as quite obsessive behaviour from Emi Martinez towards Mbappe, especially given how quickly he was, at Mbappe's side at the final whistle, presumably, being quite supportive. So, I think, immediately I'm sure that there probably will be a chat, but, long term, I don't think it will impact, their relationship. I think it's very difficult to imagine Lionel Messi having too many problems with too many of his PSG teammates, based on what he's achieved throughout his career in the game. However, I think, had it been perhaps Mbappe and Neymar going up against each other, that might have been a little more, complicated.
Jonathan Johnson, thank you so much for joining us. PSG taking on Strasbourg there in League One as that resumes in France. Scottish Premiership football is going to be our focus for the next couple of hours with commentary or declaring. The visitors now need 300
starting lineup with regards to attacking and young players. But yeah, Rangers at home and Celtic at home are very difficult to stop. That's why when you bring them to your ground, that's where you feel as if you have the best chance to pick something up. So it's going well, but there's no doubt he will not want to finish in this way. It'll have taken him a little while to get his head around it. He hasn't had many injuries throughout his career, so he hasn't had the
Cup win over Liverpool last week. Ederson returns in goal, Stones is back at centre-half, and Grealish starts out wide. Ortega, Laporte and Palmer all drop to the bench. That means there's a first Premier League start at right-back for 18-year-old Rico Lewis. Kyle Walker is on the bench, as is, interestingly, Calvin Phillips, despite Pep Guardiola's comment about his weight the other day. Cancelo, Foden, Laporte and Bernardo Silva are also on the bench as well. Leeds have have goalkeeper Ilan Millier fit to start, despite the fact he's been struggling with glandular fever. They make 2 changes from their last Premier League game, which was that memorable 4-3 defeat at Spurs, although I'm sure many Leeds fans don't want to remember it. It was epic. Tyler Adams is suspended, while Crescencio Somerville, who scored at Spurs, is on the bench. Forshaw and Greenwood both start.
Well, beside you there at Ellen Road is the former England winger, Steve Stone. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening, how are you?
Very good. What do you make of those 2 team selections then?
Well, in Manchester City, they've actually got to get some points on the board. I think Pep's got such a strong squad. He's probably going to look at the whole of January and the start of February. He's still in the EFL Cup and he's in the FA Cup. Champions League doesn't really come into it until the middle of Feb. So he'd be looking at thinking, I can use my squad tonight. I'm strong enough and I should be able to beat Leeds. There's enough players in that team that I think, there should be enough in there. It's interesting you see that Grealish has come back in there. Didn't get very many minutes in the World Cup. Needs to get some games under his belt. And Pep seems to do this. Players who haven't played a lot in the first half of the season, he tends to start to give them minutes in the second half. He did it with Jesus last year. And all of a sudden, from giving him nothing, he then came to the full second half of the season. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes with all these fixtures coming up. But Pep normally gets it right, doesn't he? Let's be honest.
He certainly does. Just a word on Rico Lewis impressing against Liverpool and Pep keeping the faith for him.
Well, that's something that Manchester City fans would want to see. It's all good and well where you're bringing all these players in for big money, but every fan of every club loves to see a local lad come through and the youth academy system do well, and it gives inspiration for other young lads at the football club to show that there's
with us for full 90-minute commentary of Leeds United against Manchester City. You are listening to Premier League Live.
It's really important that people like Lewis come into the team, do well, and Pep sticks by them. In Manchester City, you've got a little bit of a history of that with Foden coming through as well, so it's really nice to see, and it's well deserved as well. And of course, Walker's played a lot of minutes in the World Cup, just came back from injury when he was in there, so he'll be treading carefully with him because he knows he's a huge player for Manchester City.
There's so many talking points actually from that team selection, but we know the big one is, of course, Erling Haaland, back at Leeds, the city he was born in, the first game at Ellen Road. Is there a buzz there around him? Are you seeing the cameras trained on him? I can see him up on screen here in front of me. I'm sure the cameras won't leave him.
Yeah, there's a buzz around the whole ground. You can tell this is just such a massive fixture for both clubs. You can sense that Leeds, obviously, the way they play and how they get about teams and the energy that they've got, it'll be different from Manchester City. And of course, Manchester City, whenever they come to town, it's a huge fixture. But I can see Alfie Inge Haaland, his dad's down there, which he seems to be at every game around the pitch. There's TV crews around him as well. So it's he played for the club as well. So it's a huge fixture for him and the family and for Manchester City. But when I was a player, now I supported Newcastle United as a boy, and when I was going to go back there, I wanted to do really well, even though I supported them and I loved them and all the rest of it, and you wanted them to win when you weren't playing. You really wanted to do well against your home team because you wanted to show them how good they were and what they missed out on. So he'd be coming trying extra special tonight, extra hard. There'd be no way he'd be thinking, well, Leeds are my team and I'll be soft against them. He'd be wanting to score goals. This boy's an ultimate professional, and it'll be interesting to see him against them tonight because I thought Leeds have struggled defensively. I think they've really, they've been good going forward. They've scored a lot of goals, but they've conceded 26 goals so far this season, and that's a lot.
And that is not somebody you want to be coming up against, is it, in that moment? Well, City's other central striker, Julian Alvarez, isn't involved tonight. He's still celebrating Argentina's World Cup triumph, of course, but when he is back in the mix for his club, how will Pep Guardiola handle a player who has enhanced his reputation massively over the past few weeks?
What a privilege. First of all of us, we are so incredibly happy for him. It's like Messi, so has to win the World Cup to maybe get the credit or go with the position like maybe deserve. And Argentina could lose the penalties against Holland and lose the penalties against France. We will not be champions. It will be the same exactly outstanding player. Julian, all of us, we are so incredible.
Central striker.
This boy's an ultimate. I wanted to do really well, even though I supported them and I loved them and all the rest of it, and you wanted them to win when you weren't playing. You really wanted to do well against your home team because you wanted to show them how good they were and what they missed out on. So he'd be coming trying extra special tonight, extra hard. There'd be no way he'd be thinking, well, Leeds are my team and I'll be soft against them. He'd be wanting to score goals. This boy's an ultimate professional, and it'll be interesting to see him against them tonight because I thought Leeds have struggled defensively. I think they've really, they've been good going forward. They've scored a lot of goals, but they've conceded 26 goals so far this season, and that's a lot.
And that is not somebody you want to be coming up against, is it, in that moment? Well, City's other central striker, Julian Alvarez, isn't involved tonight. He's still celebrating Argentina's World Cup triumph, of course, but when he is back in the mix for his club, how will Pep Guardiola handle a player who has enhanced his reputation massively over the past few weeks?
What a privilege. First of all of us, we are so incredibly happy for him. It's like Messi, no? So has to win the World Cup to maybe get the credit or go with the position they maybe deserve. And Argentina could lose the penalties against Holland and lose the penalties against France. We will not be champions. It will be the same exactly outstanding player. Julian, of course, is a completely different player. He doesn't need to play in World Cup or in the World Cup to know exactly how he is as a player. Of course, for him it's unbelievable. And thanks to Argentina, he will come back as a better player. And that is magnificent for us.
Well, let's also bring in Manchester City fan Rachel Hudson.
The Premier League Live, and this is a Leeds United side you want to watch at this moment in time. Their last two games in the Premier League before the World Cup both ended 4-3. A victory here against Bournemouth, defeat against Tottenham. Usually Leeds United under Jesse Marsch deliver goals and entertainment, as they used to do under the legendary Marcelo Bielsa, his predecessor in the dugout here. You usually get entertainment with Manchester City as well, but they are on a bit of a mini wobble for them at the moment, having lost their last Premier League game before the World Cup at home against Brentford. They are aiming to avoid losing consecutive league games for the first time since 2018. Team news to come in a few moments' time. Before this game, though, there will be a minute's applause for George Cohen, the England World Cup winning fullback who sadly passed away in recent days at the age of 83. So I don't want to be right in the midst of the team news when we start doing that tribute. We have seen tributes around England across the last few days. A terrific player for England during the World Cup, vice captain in that World Cup final in 1966, 37 caps in totality, and a legendary player and indeed person at Fulham Football Club, where he was hosting the lounges at Fulham for many a year, and most of our colleagues here at Premier League Live have spent some time with George Cohen at some point. So that's been a real sad story in the UK and England over the last couple of weeks or so. We'll take that applause now for the great George Cohen. To the team news for this Wednesday night football special as Leeds United take on Manchester City. For Leeds, Ilem Meslier, the goalkeeper, is fit to start. There were doubts about him. He's got glandular fever, or has had it over the last week or so, but he's fit to start in goal. Back four of Pascal Struijk, Liam Cooper, Robin Koch and Rasmus Christensen. Midfield, Adam Forshaw, Mark Rocker and Sam Greenwood. Tyler Adams, the US men's national team player, suspended for this one. Up front, it's Brendan Aronson, Rodrigo and young Wilfred Gnonto. The bench is the goalkeeper Joel Robles, Luke Ayling, Junior Firpo, Crescencio Somerville, Jack Harrison, Diego Lorente, Darko JB, Joe Gelhardt and Matthias Klick. As for Manchester City, it's Ederson in goal. Back four left to right, Nathan Ake, Manuel Akanji, John Stones and Rico Lewis. The teenager getting a first start in the Premier League, having pressed in the Champions League and Carabao Cup. Midfield, Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri and Ilkay Gundogan. And up front, it's Riyad Mahrez and Jack Grealish supporting, oh dear, for everyone involved with Leeds United, Erling Haaland, whose dad, of course, played for Leeds United as well as Man City. And he's here this evening, as usual, being followed around very closely by our friend Jan Arge Fjortov. He might be his biographer, I don't know, but he's always right next to him. On the bench for City, it's Stefan Ortega, the goalkeeper, Kyle Walker, Calvin Phillips, the former Leeds United man who is thin enough to play today. We'll come back to to that, as Haaland's got a chance here. He's had a shot at goal, saved by Meslier, back to Haaland, can't control it, and that's cleared away by Leeds United. And we'll get Sean's view on that in a second. And the rest of the bench: João Cancelo, Aymeric Laporte, Bernardo Silva, Sergio Gomez, Phil Foden and Cole Palmer. I'm not even watching, and Haaland's nearly scored.
Well, it's typical Haaland, isn't it? You know, running down the side of centre half. A real problem for centre halves. The thing is with it, the way that this Manchester City build into the final third is to keep a real wide, the two wide players keep right on the touchline, and it makes the centre forwards job so easy to run in between fullback and centre half. And Ake just played it over the top of the Leeds United back four, and Haaland probably could have made it 1-0.
Well, there's your let-off. Leeds United. Haaland having a chance after 50 seconds or so. Leeds United, white shirts, white shorts, white socks. They kick from left to right as we are looking in this first period. Manchester City the other way, right to left, with black and red diagonal striped shirts, black shorts and black socks with white numbering and lettering on the back. Grealish coming forward, he's tackled, no fouls. City get it again. They look very alert here to Manchester City. Grealish cross away at the near post and then thumped upfield by Leeds United, but everyone is back. Aronson giving chase nominally, goes all the way through to Ederson, who's playing essentially in the sweeper position here for City, midway inside their own half, all in dark blue. City then regroup and take possession. 2 minutes gone. First breather for Leeds, not for long. Akanji over the top, cleared up in the air by Strout, not for long. De Bruyne brings it down. Mahrez goes down, challenged by Forshaw. That's going to be given as a free kick by the referee.
Well, it's been a great start by Man City, 2.5 minutes in, and they've had a brilliant chance already. The rotation of these wide players is brilliant. I mean, we've just seen that replay there from Erling Haaland. It's a good save actually from Meslier.
Referee this evening, Stuart Atwell, the man who's given this free kick to Manchester City. When you play them, and you've been working for Palace when you played them, is there a point when you go, oh no, they fancy this today?
Only for 95 minutes, you know, they can turn up at any point.
Do have an off day occasionally, as Brentford might tell you. Not today so far, as Mahrez clips into Haaland, who controls on the chest, tries a sweeping effort towards goal. Good defensive work by Rocker in the penalty area for Leeds, who gets the ball away initially before Strout clears it long. Crowding around Erling Haaland in their own penalty area. They get away with that, Leeds, with good defending actually, to be fair.
I know his dad played for Leeds United, Tom, but it doesn't look like it's going to do the club any favour tonight, does it?
Well, we saw our producer saw the owner of Leeds United hugging Haaland pre-game. Do you think he maybe said take it easy for your dad's sake?
Was there some tears coming out of the owner's eyes?
Will you sign for us in 15 years? Wants to keep moving on, doesn't he? Maybe that's part of it, I don't know. Leeds trying to come forward here. Sam Greenwood's through ball, trying to release Rodrigo, bit under hit. Leeds have won it back though. Good play by Strauch and Nonto. Strout into Rodrigo, flicks it on towards Brendan Aronson, who come back away from the ball as opposed to following through in the penalty area. Jack Grealish dives for a free kick and the assistant referee gives it. That's frustrating for Leeds, who are pressing high.
There's a good chance there, wasn't it? You know, there's a little bit of a sloppy pass there by Rico Lewis at full-back, and we're just watching Jack Grealish once again hit the floor.
Is that buying a free kick? Is that what we call it, to be nice?
I wouldn't want to say diving, but he's gone down there quite easy, hasn't he?
Well, I haven't got a word with him, so I can say it's diving. He won't talk to me, that's fine. They don't give me those interviews, it's fine. I'm sure Alex Crook won't get in trouble next time he talks to him, and that's the important thing. 5 minutes gone already, wow. 0-0 between Leeds and Manchester City. Great to have you with us on Premier League Live. Remember, @TalkSport Live is our Twitter page where you can speak to Sean and I directly. Let us know your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on Leeds United, Jesse Marsh, Manchester City, anything you want. And if there's something good you want to get off your chest, we'll read it out on the show. Stones has gone down over on that far side. Late challenge on him. Referee allows play to go on. It was Nonto with the challenge. Ball has worked out to Jack Grealish on this near side in front of Pep Guardiola and Jesse Marsh, who are both on the edge of their technical areas. Two of the more demonstrative coaches in the league, as De Bruyne looks to swing one in behind to Haaland, who made the run off the shoulder of the two centre-halves, but Meslier, all in orange, away to our left, dives out and makes a good gap.
We were just talking off air before the game started, Tom, and we were saying, weren't we, about if you sit deep against this Manchester City team, you do invite the crosses going into the box with Mahrez and Grealish. If you want to be more forceful with your press, then unfortunately you've got the danger of a Erling Haaland. So you've got to get that balance right tonight, Leeds United.
Haaland back to goal, centre circle, finds Mahrez to his right. Rico Lewis overlapping. Here he is now, Rico Lewis. De Bruyne's free in the pocket. Oh, and he's put his shot wide. That was perfect for Kevin De Bruyne. No one's on him. I thought that was flying in. I think everyone at Ellen Road thought that was flying in. It's gone wide.
Well, we've seen loads of goals throughout the time he's been at Manchester City from Kevin De Bruyne, where he's picked out the top corner. He'll be disappointed with that. It was a good little setback. He couldn't get his foot around it just in time. Great chance for Man City.
I'm getting Harry Kane flashbacks here. I'd have bet my mortgage on him scoring that penalty. I'd have done the same with Kevin De Bruyne hitting that towards goal. I've lost 2 houses on these players. I should stop betting my mortgage, really. Ball over the top here towards Nonto. Stones is there. Rodrigo has read it. Edison's come along his end line, right hand side to clear it. Good pressing again from Leeds United, who are still one of the most energetic teams in the Premier League. Sean, you mentioned the risks earlier, but also plenty of rewards too.
Absolutely, and when they get you in that defensive third as well, if you're labouring in possession, they don't go in ones and twos, they goes in fives and sixes. And that's where they're going to have to be really efficient tonight. If they can just trap John Stones or Akanji in possession, then they're going to go in the numbers.
Ball with Jack Grealish, seeing plenty of the ball in the opening exchanges here. The big money signing from Aston Villa, £100 million. Or so. What is a transfer fee these days? Lots of money anyway. £50 million per calf. Here he is now, on the sideline, back towards his own half. Nathan Ake into Akanji. To his right is John Stones. Back to Manuel Akanji again. He finds Rodri, who was playing centre-half during the World Cup, back in a more familiar position for us at least, in defensive midfield for Manchester City. Gundogan and Grealish trial 1-2. Intercepted on this near side by Leeds United. And Rasmus Christensen down the line to Brendan Aronson. He wants a free kick. Not going to get it. Feels he was being held there by Rodri with the challenge. The same assistant referee who gave nothing to Jack Grealish a minute ago. I'm sure that'll annoy a few Leeds fans watching on. Here's Rico Lewis, the 18-year-old, on his 8th appearance for the club. First start in the Premier League of 4 appearances.
Just looking at the positions he's pulling into, Rico Lewis, he's putting more of a midfielder. You know, we've seen Manchester City do this, haven't we, where they build from this deep area and invert their fullbacks. It's a real interesting setup.
Leeds getting right after Manchester City as Forshaw carries the ball to the halfway line. Nice footwork from the man who's come in for Tyler Adams this evening, long-time servant of Leeds United. All round the back here towards Brendan Aronson. City's high line there, but ball to him was a touch too heavy, and it's had a play for a City throw. We always get a great atmosphere at Ellen Road. Tonight, though, it does feel especially special. Long time without football, of course, fans in England, fans across the world with the World Cup. To come back with Man City at home, they've been waiting for this one for a long time.
Absolutely, and of course it's always special up at Ellen Road, playing whoever, but when you've got the champions coming into town as well, it makes it that a little bit more special. They really get behind the team here. I mean, they've had some tough periods this last 2 years, especially at home, but these fans have got right behind them all the time.
Jack Grealish over the halfway line, left hand side, shuffles infield away from one. I think that probably was a foul from Rocker there, but it wasn't given by the referee. In fact, I think advantage was played. into Rico Lewis, who's in that central midfield right back role that Man City often put Kyle Walker in, who Rico Lewis is replacing this evening. Into Gundogan, round the corner to Kevin De Bruyne. Once again, Leeds win it back. Lovely turn. The fleet-footed Forshaw, and it's on to Aronson, then left to Nunto. Held up by Rico Lewis and touched back towards the Leeds back line. Liam Cooper to Robin Koch. Flick forward over Grealish's head. Christensen just keeps that in, but not much he could do with that really. It was right on the sideline. Tried to help it on there to Sam Greenwood. It's run back by Manchester City. 10 minutes gone, 0-0. Leeds United, Manchester City on Premier League Live. Possession to this point, 80-20 in favour of Manchester City. 3 shots from the away team, 1 on target. Still waiting for our first effort from Leeds United. Half of the course though.
We've just seen Leeds United there probably have 6 or 7 consecutive passes. I know they've not gone anywhere, but it's just taking the stuffing out of this Man City team because they've started so quickly, and the purpose of them is to get the ball into the final third as quickly as possible.
Ball into Rico Lewis, once again in a more central position than we would expect, seeing the formation on paper. Forward by Ake. Once again, Forshaw has read it. Looks very alert at the moment, Adam Forshaw, but his pass out to this near side was poorly targeted towards Rodrigo. He basically passed straight to Pep Guardiola, who's got his team back going again. John Stones will find Ederson. Such a casual pass towards Akanji. It concerns me. I know they're not worried, but it worries me when the keeper's 40 yards out of goal and he's played a pretty poor pass behind Akanji.
I mean, his starting position, I haven't seen a goalkeeper as high as that. I mean, he really is a quarterback, isn't he?
They're not worried, so I won't be on their behalf. Always with Akanji. Wants to carry the ball towards the halfway line for Manchester City. Ederson out of his penalty area again. Another pretty weird pass from Ederson. Looks to find John Stones to his right and misplaces it. Once again, it's straight into touch that.
If you're going to come out of your box by 20 yards, Ederson, you've got to start playing like an outfield player and not a goalkeeper in them areas. You know, they would frustrate me as a manager. If you want, I get it, you know, overloading in defensive areas, but be more efficient with your passing.
He's trying to break through the lines here, but Gundogan has won it back, and here's Kevin De Bruyne. Slips in Haaland. Underneath his feet there, Erling Haaland. Ball go through to Meslier, who'll clear. Maybe a touch too heavy from De Bruyne. And it's Wilfried Gnonto. Lovely footwork again from him. Good strength to get there before Rico Lewis too, on the halfway line for Leeds United.
Again, just seeing Erling Haaland then. He's got no desire, has he, to set, play into feet when he knows he can drop his shoulder and go in behind the back four. Everything he wants to do is he wants to be that threat. It must be brilliant to play with a centre forward like that.
Here's Meslier in goal for Leeds. Big blast out right. Keeps possession well, not a great ball to Greenwood. Leeds passing has been a little bit off, maybe a little bit rushed when they've had it. Here they are in the offensive third for a few moments, back towards midfield now with Rocker, then Cooper, then Koch on the halfway. Haaland pressing. Christensen, that's a good ball round the back, and Greenwood hasn't got the pace. Akanji will get there on the cover, keeps it in end line. Left-footed pass forward to Grealish, who is challenged by Rocker, and it's a free kick given there by the assistant referee. I don't know, it's on Jack Grealish. Do you have to give Grealish a free kick every time? I don't know. There's no foul there, is there?
It's not a foul. I thought it was a brilliant press in the corner there. We said about this Leeds United team, when they get you in your defensive third, they go in the numbers. I thought it was a brilliant press. It's not a foul. Jesse Marsh is going absolutely ballistic on the sideline.
Well, he's right to, isn't he?
He is, absolutely.
I fully agree with protecting players. I think that's the first job of the officials, but to a point. And there's nothing happening there.
No, the thing is clever because the press is not gone straight in the line of the ball. He's gone on the outside, and he may have caught Jack Grealish, but he's definitely got the ball there.
Yeah, that's good work, I think, from Rocco, and he's been punished. At the other end, City trying to make that even worse for Leeds United. Mahrez, De Bruyne, cross comes in, chance for the diving Gundogan, couldn't make a good connection with the delivery from Kevin De Bruyne, and that's out of play on this near side for a goal kick, I think.
Well, we automatically think that when the cross comes into the box, Erling Haaland's going to be there, but he wasn't. He's made an overlap run there, and it was left to Gundogan. It's a wonderful pass once again by Kevin De Bruyne. Just couldn't get his head on it there, Gundogan.
It always comes to me in Man City commentaries when he does something like that. I remember doing the Wigan game for Man City a few years ago in the FA Cup, the one where Paul Cook went mental and Wigan won. And Dan Burn was playing for Wigan, and they said, what was it like defending against Kevin De Bruyne? And he said, some of them crosses were disgusting. And that's what their ball was like there from Kevin De Bruyne, I think. Almost impossible to defend against. Dan Burn might be a Premier League winner this season with Newcastle.
He's been absolutely brilliant, hasn't he, for Newcastle.
Here's Nathan Ake on the halfway line. Man City, 16 minutes gone, 0-0. Grealish loses out here to Christensen. No free kick given. That's the biggest shock of the day. Greenwood down the line, tries to find Brendan Aronson. Lovely first touch. They want someone to pass to. Rodrigo was trying to bust a gut to get there. Stones gets there first. Stones into Ake, Ake into Rodri. Aronson chasing him down, City not panicking. Leeds pressing. It's brilliant. It's brilliant from City and from Leeds, this, you know. Great pressing, but it's so hard to get the ball off Manchester City at times.
I think that just highlights the quality of both teams, you know.
Yeah.
Leeds really brave in the way they want to go and press, but you've got to take your hat off to Manchester City and Pep Guardiola. They play through this pressure brilliantly.
You've got to make them keep the ball, and they did there at Leeds United. Jesse Marsh will be happy with that, I think, as Mahrez knocks one down the line. Liam Cooper gets there first. Gundogan goes in a bit late there. And is a free kick. I think it'll be just a free kick, but could have been a yellow, that, you know.
I take them on what Manchester City are brilliant at, fouling.
Yeah.
They foul in the final third more than any other team in the Premier League, and they're brilliant at it, and they get away with it as well.
Well, it's one of those things about Pep Guardiola that it almost doesn't get spoken about enough, that not only were his Barcelona team the technically most gifted, they were the dirtiest players in the game. Yeah. They were the Ric Flair of football for about 5 years, and it doesn't really get spoken about. And at Man City, the Fernandinho foul, 10 per game.
Yeah. The little wave of the hand, the little nod to the referee.
Minutes gone. Ball is with Edison away to our right. Heading back to him from Rodri. Pretty decent game so far. No goals to this point. I'd be staggered if we had no goals in 72 minutes from now when this game comes to its conclusion. But I've been staggered before.
Well, we've had a lot of goals over this Christmas period, so you know we're still hopeful.
Here is a Kanji. Times it's a bit like a three-man defence for Man City. The formation is almost not understandable when you're looking at them when they've got the ball. But there isn't one really. Leeds trying to capitalise on that, having won it back. Again, the passing is a bit loose in towards Rodri. There's Greenwood this time with a loose ball forward. City have it again. Rico Lewis is about as central as Rodri is. Ake is pulled out quite wide. It's like a back three of Akanji, Ake and Stones, with Lewis in midfield next to Rodri.
Well, we've seen that before, haven't we, with Kyle Walker when he plays in this position for Man City. Sits alongside Rodri and just dictates the game, and I'm guessing he's just been hit there.
Yeah, I think Forshaw has noted how much Rico Lewis is getting the ball. A bit of a veteran, Forshaw, compared to Rico Lewis, and I think maybe has noted we've kind of got to stop this kid getting the ball so much.
He's probably had more possession than any Man City player so far. Because how do you mark it as a Leeds United player?
How annoying for everyone else. They've even got good teenagers now, Man City.
testament is for him to be picked in a game as high profile as this as well tonight.
Of course, they have put a lot of money into the development system at Manchester City, competing with players with Liverpool and Manchester United in that region. Mahrez free kick with 45 yards off from goal. He's gone short to Gundogan. No one's coming to Gundogan. He takes a pretty poor shot towards goal, but it touched no one on its way through. Meslier, I'm not quite sure, knew where he was, and it's not gone too far wide.
It looked like they've set up a routine there, haven't they, Manchester City? And then suddenly Gundogan's decided that he's got 30 yards in front of him, he can have a shot.
Well, that was really strange, that, because I think that was one of those ones where it's going wide, that might not be going wide. Luckily for Ilhan Meslier it did. Blasted long by the French goalkeeper, picked up by Grealish in midfield, who runs from left to right. Still going, Grealish tries to win a free kick off Strauch. He's not going to get one that time. I think he was looking for a free kick the entire way. Referee's not gone for it that time. Stay down, Jack Grealish.
I thought Grealish could have offloaded it there. There was a great little run in front of him. I think we're just stopping the game just to...
I mean, the referee has stopped it here, and it's their prerogative, of course, but unless it's a head injury, I just think we all need to come to an agreement here to stopping the match, unless it's a serious injury or a head injury. Every other sport in the world seems to understand this, but this particular one, well, why are we stopping the game here? Player gets injured, bring someone on to treat him and play on. What's we stopping for? So I can do my moaning about this? A little bit of airtime for me? No one wants that.
Well, we know that Grealish has got that in, the way that he plays. He lulls you into a tackle, doesn't he? His close control is fantastic. And when he gets at you with pace, you've got to be absolutely spot on with your tackles. And was it a foul, Tom? I'm not too sure.
Do you know what? He's a bit boy who cried wolf, isn't he, Jack Grealish? I think that's the trouble. I think that probably was a free kick, personally. But he's got 3 tonight, which I don't think were. So, I don't know. At some point, the sheep get eaten. Grealish complaining to the referee, Stuart Atwell, about that. 22 minutes gone. The score is 0-0 between Leeds United and Manchester City. We are back with you on Friday night, folks, for more Premier League live action. Liverpool-Leicester City is our feature game. Also our full commentary of West Ham United. Big game for the Hammers. 10 defeats in 16 games against Brentford, who have only lost, I think, 4 all season. Full programme on Saturday, the last day of this calendar year, rounded up with Brighton against Arsenal. That's going to be a cracker. Then games on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for you next week. So if you missed the Premier League over the World Cup period, plenty to enjoy over the next few days. Jack Grealish is alright, and we are back underway with Grealish on the ball. Always seems to get booed wherever he goes, Jack Grealish.
I think it's a little tact as well for this Leeds United team. As soon as it gets it, can they rattle him? Can they get close to him?
Here's Erling Haaland, who had that chance early doors. Not sure he's touched the ball since then. Forced off it this time by good defending from Christensen, I think it was, with the nudge. But again, Leeds on the break. Can't find the right passes in the right order. Another poor ball forward, nominally towards Aronson from Rocker, but it's nowhere near him, really. Lewis finds John Stones on the overlap. Back into midfield, Rodri helps it left to Ake, who's in a central left position. Here he is, Jack Grealish. Back towards the halfway line in Akanji. And Lewis again. Akanji in the centre circle. Rico Lewis controls and turns and finds a pass right to Stones. De Bruyne to Mahrez. Back to the halfway line. Leeds reasonably deep here as City try and find holes in the rear guard of the home team. Rodri left. Cross field. Strauch underneath it. Let that go. I think more by luck than judgment. Either way, he's won his team a throw there, the the fullback for Leeds United, who I think is usually a centre-half. I know he's played fullback a decent amount now, but still seems like a centre-half out of position to me.
Yeah, he's been a good signing for Leeds. He's one of them players, isn't he, where you can play him at left centre-half, left back. We've seen him in midfield at times for this team. You know, he's a real flexible player.
His throw finds Forshaw. Forshaw under pressure. Well, the linesman had no idea who that was a throw into. He's given it to Man City. Forshaw under pressure. From where we are, looked like he knocked it straight into touch, but we're miles away. Here's Rodri. Brendan Aronson nibbling at the calves. He turns away. Ake to Grealish on the sideline. Midway inside Leeds territory. Nathan Ake will find Rodri.
Leeds have done really well just blocking that little channel when Grealish gets the ball, and he likes to get on the half turn and play into a De Bruyne if he comes over, or a Gundogan. There's enough bodies over this side of the pitch to stop that threat. I think they've really tightened that up over the last 5 or 10 minutes, Leeds.
Rodri finds Rico Lewis, then Gundogan, then right to Stones. On the halfway line here, Manchester City, third in the Premier League table, behind the leaders Arsenal and Newcastle United, who both won on Boxing Day the 26th. Grealish again being hassled and harried by Leeds United. This time it's Greenwood doing the work. Flick forward towards De Bruyne. Strout blasts the ball away. Meslier was there in his area to take it. Leeds get away with it. Christensen forward, blocked by Gundogan. Cock up and gets the header away. And then forward by Rocker, trying to find an out ball, but there just is no out ball at the moment for Leeds.
No, they've struggled, haven't they? Just when they're working so hard, this Leeds team, just having that little bit of confidence to stay in possession for slightly longer than what they are. In a weird way, where we're seeing this build-up from Manchester City, it's probably where Leeds are at the most secure, because there's no depth behind the back four. They're not really pushing too many players into a high press, and they're just shielding this back four really well at the minute.
Okay, helps the ball on to Jack Grealish, who gets there before Greenwood. His touch in field was intercepted there by Rocker. And then Greenwood on the sideline, challenged by Gundogan, trying to press for Man City in Leeds territory. Out for a throw on this near side. Just seeing a video on our monitors of Carl Walker on the bench destroying equipment. Does he get charged for that? There was a kind of camera on the dugout which I think was obscuring Carl Walker's view. Someone's got to pay for the damages. It ain't going to be me.
I think Carl will be okay with that fine.
Cameras are very expensive these days, you know.
Don't worry, Carl's going to be fine.
A foul in the midfield area here. Leeds have got a free kick, a few yards over the halfway line. They've sent a few forward here. Cox gone forward, Strauch is up. Going a bit Allardyce here, Leeds United. High line for Manchester City. 3 towards what you'd say is the back post. That's where they're going now. Free kick immediately given by Stuart Atwell for a foul on John Stones.
As blatant as a foul as you'll see all day, that, won't you? I mean, this blocking, although I've seen it again, perhaps Stones did it at the deck a little bit too early.
Well, I think that's generous. That's generous. You see him given, I suppose, but you certainly see him not given more often than not. There won't be one at the other end later in the game when it's in the penalty area.
What are you suggesting, Tom?
But Howard Webb's got a big job on. That's what I'm suggesting. Good luck to you, Howard. Always with Rodri, right at the centre circle for Man City. Forward now to Gundogan. Helped on to Grealish in the penalty area. Grealish with a shot that's blocked. Looked like it came back off Grealish. It's gone for a corner. It was Christensen, the man who was chasing him down.
Well, it's the first time in a while where Manchester City have been able to play through this stern defence that Leeds United have got. Gundogan just getting on the half turn in a good little pocket just in front of the Leeds United back four, and I thought Jack Grealish could have done better there.
This corner to Manchester City on the attacking left-hand side. Their first corner of the match towards the near post. Well, Rodrigo let it go straight into the arms of Meslier. If City had sent someone in that area, there could have been a poke home, but they did not, and it's still 0-0 as we get to 30 minutes play.
He done well there, Meslier. Saw it really late, didn't he?
Maybe De Bruyne wants Gundogan to knock it on there. Is that what the plan was?
He's normally got better quality than that, De Bruyne. I'm not sure that was exactly what was meant from the set play. We've seen a couple of strange set plays tonight for City.
Do they look a bit World Cup rusty?
I don't think so. They've really took control of this game. I mean, I'm not too sure what the percentage is, the possession percent at the minute, but you're suggesting it's still
around 80-20.
Yeah.
Not creating a great deal though at the moment. Maybe now. Kevin De Bruyne slips in Erling Haaland. Saved by Meslier. Ricochets off the defender here, and it's going to be cleared by Stroud. Quick as that. Could have been another goal for Haaland, but he's missed both chances tonight. Or rather, Meslier saved them both.
It's a great run. Just peeled on the shoulder of Liam Cooper there. You've got to say, brilliant save again by Liam Meslier. He's done really well. I think we talked about Edison being the sweeper. Meslier has to be the sweeper as well because of the threat that Erling Haaland carries. He knows he's going to go in behind, and he's pulled off a really good save there. Should be 2-0 Man City this.
They don't usually allow Erling Haaland more than one chance per game. That's two now that have gone begging for the superstar striker. Corner left hand side, Manchester City. Gundogan with it this time. Right arm goes up towards the near post again. It's cleared by Rodri, brought down by Mahrez, flipped forward by Rico Lewis. It finds Gundogan. It just come off a Leeds head in there, which stopped Gundogan getting on the end of it. That's out for another corner. I think it was Forshaw's flick. Gundogan takes the corner quickly. De Bruyne, Grealish, Gundogan away at the near post, recovered by Rico Lewis. Away at the back post, recovered by Rodri. On to Mahrez, left-footed cross comes in, chance! And it's Grealish, and it's over. He's unmarked, he's 6 yards out. You've got to feel like he's got to score.
Well, Leeds United have just not defended the box properly, have they? And when they are, they've gone out, they've defended that second phase really poorly. It's a brilliant chance once I think he's got with the wrong foot, Grealish. He's come to him really quickly at the back post, and you just think if he can open his body, it's a left foot tap in, but he's tried the outside of the right foot and didn't execute it at all.
And that's maybe the best chance of the game that hasn't gone to Erling Haaland. Probably the best chance, full stop. It's a near open goal for Grealish, who's missed it. At the other end, Leeds coming forward with Nonto on the far side. In the area, Nonto drops the shoulder, left-footed cutback, cleared by Gundogan. Not out of the box by Lewis, recovered from Nonto on the far side. It was pressure from Roca that kept the ball in there. Forshaw, Roca, Nonto, left-hand side, running at Stones. Lovely footwork to beat two, but the third man was Rodri, the fourth was Rico Lewis. Eventually they get it off the teenager, and it's out for a throw on the far side to Leeds United.
You can imagine Pep Guardiola being incredibly frustrated with what he's seen. He should be seeing his team 3-0 up, but it only takes a slight miscommunication, a slip in this back four, and you can see Leeds getting a goal on the counter.
Pascal Struijk is lining up a long throw here on the left hand side. Into the area, flicked on by, I think it was Corky got up there in the penalty area, tried to find Rodri. Snap shot by Nonto, but it's well over the crossbar. And that's a goal kick for Manchester City. First shot of the game for Leeds. Decent little spell.
Yeah, he's bright, isn't he? Rodri. When he gets his head down and he's running it here
with the first half and change to go. A pretty typical Man City game so far, apart from no goals being scored. Good challenge by Roca on Lewis, but Lewis gets up and gets back, and that's good from both players there. Tackles allowed in a football match, whatever next. Here's Riyad Mahrez, far side. Pokes it through. Gundogan will get there first. Good save by Meslier again. Gundogan went first time with a chip shot. Not cleared particularly far. De Bruyne's header back towards goal once again. Well dealt with by Meslier in goal.
Brilliant passage of play there. We saw the 50-50 in the middle of the park. again, the goalkeeper saved his team. His starting position is excellent tonight.
It was a massive doubt for this game. Meslier been suffering this week with glandular fever. This morning we were getting reports he was unlikely to play. Made a big difference.
He's been really busy, hasn't he, at Ellen Road, this young goalkeeper. I mean, he's had a lot to do since he's come over here. He's been active all the time. Every time I've watched Leeds United play, sometimes he causes a little bit of unrest in the back four, but more often than not he pulls off some really big saves.
I heard him speak the other day for the first time.
Really?
And he's
I've not seen his mouth move at all.
His voice, he's like a French Morgan Freeman. One of the deepest voices. He's like 22 years old. He sounds like a 75-year-old. It's incredible. Very compelling. He'd make a good Poirot. Certainly making a good goalkeeper at the moment. Rico Lewis goes cross-field, blocked by Rocker on the halfway. Good footwork by Nonto and Forshaw to keep Leeds on the ball. No foul from Riyad Mahrez, says the referee, and City are coming here with Kevin De Bruyne. Driving, powerful run. Jack Grealish's shot blocked by Christensen. Covered by De Bruyne. Back towards the halfway line, Nathan Ake. Reasonably quiet so far, Kevin De Bruyne. Here he is now trying to have an impact on the game from the left-hand side. Cross behind Mahrez, Strauch away. Leeds all back in their defensive third, bar Aaronson's. They're not going to get on the end of that clearance, and City will come again. Crossfield to Kevin De Bruyne. Lovely ball. Running at Greenwood, losing it out to Greenwood. Tip upfield though is poor. You've got to show some composure. If you won the ball back well, there's no reason just to whack it upfield. Defensively,
Greenwood's been excellent tonight. He's really helped his fullback Christensen out. But that little bit of composure when he gets on the ball is let him down. As it has basically for this first 37 minutes for Leeds United generally. You can't say defensively that they're not organised, they've not got structure.
A bit more from Adam Forshaw on the ball. I think when you've got someone like Sam Greenwood who's 20, maybe you expect a few rookie kind of errors like that. You've got a veteran in midfield alongside him. That's where it's got to come from, I think, from Leeds. And they get it back, of course. Possession still around the 80-20 mark. Here's Jack Grealish, who's had plenty of that 80. Runs towards the halfway line. Forward to Mahrez, then to Rico Lewis. Back to Riyad Mahrez. Left-footed chip forward, blocked by Aronson. Chance here for Leeds to break. Two runners ahead of Greenwood, who's over the halfway line. Rodrigo wanted it. Greenwood's not gone. Back in towards the centre of midfield with Mark Rocker. Then to Pascal Strout, then on to Nonto, who wants the ball. Running at Rico Lewis on the far side. Takes him on the outside. Cuts it back well. Aronson hadn't made the run. And Gundogan will pick it up under no pressure.
Once again, it's Wilfred Nonto on the left-hand side causing the problems for this Manchester City team.
It's certainly a game at 0-0 that feels in the balance. Leeds do seem like they can cause some trouble when they get into those positions. And as long as City haven't scored, there's a chance here for a famous victory for Jesse Marsh's team. Looking pretty defensively stout so far. More work to do. Kevin De Bruyne, right-hand side. Into Riyad Mahrez, who jumps to the ground for a free kick, and Liam Cooper is adjudged to have fouled him. I don't know, maybe you can tell what I think of it. Sean?
He was always going down, wasn't he? Mahrez there is, I think wide players, they smell the challenge coming first.
Yeah.
And they see where they are. I mean, this is a real good position for Manchester City to put the ball in the box, and we've said about the way that they can play through the thirds, but they've also got great set play deliveries. We're going to see one going, I'm sure, right in a valuable area for this City team.
It's right-hand side, about 8 yards away from the sideline, 24-25 from the end. Kevin De Bruyne and Riyad Mahrez over it. Two very good crossers of a football. Leeds line around the penalty spot. De Bruyne's delivery is low. Grealish! First time shot, spoons the ball over the crossbar. Second big chance of the game for Jack Grealish, and he and Kevin De Bruyne have a bit of a staring contest post that effort. I think Kevin De Bruyne expects more from his £100 million team.
Well, it's a brilliant pass, isn't it? You know, we've said about the quality going into the box, but He's had a strange first half, Grealish, hasn't he? He's been involved in everything, but a lot of the things he's been involved in have been of a poor quality, the last bit, which is not like Jack Grealish.
I do think there is a bit of a school of thought that the jury still remains out on him as a Manchester City player. I don't think I'm being too unkind to suggest that. I suppose if he came in for £10 million, we wouldn't be having that conversation.
Well, the price tag carries a lot of expectation, of course.
Hasn't quite delivered so far for Manchester City, but he's in the team tonight. He's having chances. He's certainly trying to make things happen. 1 goal in 8 Premier League appearances so far this campaign. Good work again from Leeds in midfield in their own half. This time it's Forshaw and Nonto and Roca. This time they go back towards Meslier, as they may well be trying to manage the game towards half-time now. No foul this time from Cooper on Mahrez. Tripped up towards Brendan Aronson. Back to go on the halfway line. Rodgers going to foul him here. There's the old Guardiola foul. Long way from goal. Never going to get booked for it. Stops the Leeds attack.
They are masters at it. They really are. They spread it around the team as well. It's not the same person who does it all the time.
Crossfield from the free kick to Christensen, who can't bring it down. Rodrigo in the penalty area, forced wide by Akanji. In fact, forced off by Akanji. I think the referee has had to overrule the assistant here. The assistant initially gave a corner there, and Akanji shouted at him and he changed his mind. It wasn't a corner. I mean, he was right to correct himself, but that won't endear himself to Leeds fans. Just a reminder that a lot of the World Cup stars for Man City are on the bench tonight, so as you'd imagine, there's plenty of options for Pep Guardiola. Cancelo, Silva, Phil Foden joined the team this evening. Here is Grealish, who's in the team ahead of him. Chance here for Riyad Mahrez. Cross comes in from Grealish to find the diagonal run of Riyad Mahrez, who swung the left boot. I think he's missed it completely. It's gone for a goal kick.
It's a brilliant move by Man City, it really is. Again, Jack Grealish keeping his width and a wonderful ball into the box. Riyad Mahrez become a second centre forward and he just couldn't make contact, could he? It's a great run.
Well, it's all been ifs, buts and maybes so far for Man City. Nearly moments, but nothing particularly threatening. Leeds still very much in with a chance of winning this match as we head towards 45 minutes, 43 gone, the score is 0-0. How do Leeds create a chance here? What are they missing?
I often think when Bamford doesn't play, they miss the outlet of, a bit of physicality at centre forward. Of course, Rodrigo's there and he does a lot of hard work, but I think he plays better off a number 9 rather than leading the line himself.
Patrick Bamford once again unavailable through injury tonight. I've got it listed here as groin, hip, pelvis, miscellaneous. So plenty of issues at the moment for the centre forward, who's struggled a lot since his first season back in the Premier League just to get on the field.
Yeah, very frustrating.
Real shame after a season of real vindication for Patrick Bamford as Leeds first came up.
He wasn't he? He was Bielsa's man, really intelligent, leading that, that front line, especially in that first season, like you say.
We'll have to see him back at some point soon, as the Leeds fans, I'm sure. Here's Rico Lewis, lovely football between he and Kevin De Bruyne, and it's a poke right, in fact a dummy from Rico Lewis. Sees him still going here, but it's a cross that's blocked, and Leeds can counter here if they can find the right pass. You don't need me to tell you they didn't find the right pass. It goes through to Manuel Akanji in the centre circle. Frustration there from the home support. That's a lovely flick from Kevin De Bruyne, and Rico Lewis is in here for City. Rico Lewis, Grealish! He's missed another one! It's over the top from 12 yards out. Jack Grealish, he can't believe it. At this point, neither can I.
Well, it starts off with an absolute brilliant piece of skill by Kevin De Bruyne. Young Lewis has picked him out. How do you miss that? I don't know how you missed that. It's literally right in front of the goal. It's harder to miss.
Well, that's 2 open goals and 1 gilt-edged chance so far for Jack Grealish.
I'm not sure as a manager when you go in at half time and see your team at 0-0, of course you've got to keep your frustrations at a limit, but Grealish has really had 2 unbelievable opportunities tonight.
I'm sure will come again though, as we have 1 additional minute at the end of this first half to enjoy. Rodrigo around the corner. Can Leeds get it right in the final third? Greenwood falls over and can't find the pass. What a touch that is from Gundogan to get away from the pressure. And there's a chance here for Kevin De Bruyne on the counter-attack. Space to exploit. Christensen's gone. Cut back by De Bruyne. Into Rodri. To Riyad Mahrez. Great save. Rodri. That's 1-0. Leeds finally getting bodies forward, and Manchester City, as they so often do, make the opponents pay. It's Rodri with the goal. It's 1-0 to the champions.
Carl, what a brutal time to concede if you're a Leeds United player. They defended really well for large parts of this first half, but it's just the pace. You mentioned the turn there by Gundogan, and we saw one only a couple of minutes ago by De Bruyne. Again, equally impressive. A brilliant counter-attacking move there by Manchester City. And a vital goal for them to lead 1-0.
I've got a feel for Ilya Melia, who's made plenty of decent stops tonight. It might have been the best one he's made, but just puts it into a bad area as Rodri's coming in on the follow-up. Needs a bit of help, maybe a bit of luck. And in fact, we're seeing it on the replay close up here. The rebound has actually gone almost through his hand. He just couldn't get enough on it. That's a shame for the goalkeeper.
Very tough for the goalkeeper. He's been outstanding, hasn't he?
First goal in the Premier League this season for Rodri.
It's the highest he's been in the game, isn't he? He's just patrolled in front of that back 4.
And that is how close they were, Leeds United, to a very strong first half, which it has been, but of course things look better when you've not conceded. Haaland with a couple of chances. Grealish could have scored a hat-trick, but would you believe it, scored the goal that separates the two sides. Further analysis to follow. Stay with us. Half-time, Leeds 0, Man City 1. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Subscribe right here on the Sammy SK Football channel. You can interact with the commentary team by commenting live in the chat on the Sammy SK Football YouTube channel page. We even might give you a mention. I think it's the goodest time as ever to take some of your comments in, as you've already heard from tonight. Barry Swain, what's the latest on the socials, Barry?
Rabanov has just said, no, Courtois is just unreal. Mesilo, Kalula going for broke. Istanbul. Kate Broom saying Courtois is the man of the match. What a save. He agrees with you guys. Tawanda Zinot Ye Well has said, I'm worried that those substitutions will open up Liverpool's midfield for real to penetrate. Well, they nearly did just now. Hit the like button, subscribe to Sammy SK Football on YouTube, share us and follow us on Twitter at ATG Broadcast. That's at ATG. We've had a great time tonight. Thank you very much to our commentary team of Matt Isles and Billy Andrews. Thank you very much to John Kane, who alongside myself has had to kind of chip in and dig deep to fill some airtime because of the 45-minute delay before kick-off. We thoroughly enjoyed the game. It wasn't to be for Liverpool tonight. Real Madrid done the job well by beating Liverpool by 1-0. Don't forget, you can still like us on the Sammy SK Football YouTube channel. Share us as well, and also on Twitter. Follow us
in the Scottish Premiership this evening. The other games just getting underway in the second half. Let me bring you right up to date with the latest scores there. Big game at the bottom of the table. Dundee United are a goal up against Ross County, so that means that Dundee jump ahead of Ross County, so they're off the foot of the table as things stand. Kilmarnock, they are beating Aberdeen 2-0, so that's interesting because Hearts are also beating St Johnstone 2-0, so Hearts now have jumped ahead of Aberdeen, so Hearts are up to third as it stands with that scoreline. Rangers, as we've been hearing, lead Motherwell 2-0, and it is goalless still between Livingston and St Mirren. I'll update you on any scores over half time in our commentary game. But let's get to Elland Road and reflect a little bit more on that first half between Leeds United and Manchester City. We heard there the goal coming right at the end of the first half for Manchester City, Lee Blakeman. I mean, I've run out of paper trying to write down the amount of chances that Manchester City had. I'm sure I missed stuff when I was watching the Celtic game as well. They were so in control.
Do you know what? We have also just been saying exactly the same thing. Me and Steve Stone have ran out of space on our paper with City chances. Just the one for Leeds. Rodri's goal separating the teams. First half stoppage time. Leeds 0, Manchester City 1. Mahrez shot, saved by Meslier. Rodri following up for a tap-in. City frustrated before that. Meslier has been superb in the Leeds goal. Twice denying Erling Haaland. The first save coming inside 40 seconds. Gundogan denied by the keeper from close range 2. Jack Grealish has skied a couple. One was an absolute sitter, and Leeds have had just one shot on goal in the whole half from Nonto. So on that basis, Steve Stone, you have to say City more than deserving of that 1-0 lead.
Yeah, they've been excellent throughout, haven't they? We talked about Leeds before the game, how they would come out and they would try and put some pressure on Manchester City, but they really haven't done that at all. They've just sat back, they've got in really good shape, they've tried to force the ball wide, but as the game's gone on, Man City have got real control. They've got in between the lines, and then when they're blocked in between the lines, they've pushed it out wide, then they found the space down the outside of the centre-halves. And whichever way Leeds tried to set up, or whichever way they tried to block them, Man City and Pep find a way of getting through them. But every chance that you ever look at Manchester City are creating, Kevin De Bruyne to Grealish, Kevin De Bruyne to Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne, it's the Kevin De Bruyne show, I'm telling you. He has been absolutely outstanding in this first half.
And City with such a strong bench as well. Leeds will not like the sight of Walker, Phillips, Cancelo, Laporte, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden. They're all on there. All could come on during the second half. At the end of an entertaining first, though, Leeds 0, Manchester City 1.
Lee Blakeman and Steve Stone at Elland Road. Thank you. Updates from the guys to come from the second half. But now on 5 Live Sport as it approaches 5 minutes to 9 o'clock this Wednesday night. Let's get the latest BBC.
And they're all
City are creating, try to force the ball wide
from Nonto. So on that basis, Steve Stone, you have to say City more than deserving of that 1-0 lead.
Yeah, they've been excellent throughout, haven't they? We talked about Leeds before the game, how they would come out and they would try and put some pressure on Manchester City, but they really haven't done that at all. They've just sat back, they've got in really good shape, they've tried to force the ball wide, but as the game's gone on, Man City have got real control. They've got in between the lines, and then when they're blocked in between the lines, they've pushed it out wide, then they found the space down the outside of the centre-halves. And whichever way Leeds tried to set up, or whichever way they tried to block them, Man City and Pep find a way of getting through them. But every
into Rodri, to Riyad Mahrez, great save. Rodri, that's 1-0. Leeds finally getting bodies forward, and Manchester City, as they so often do, make the opponents pay. It's Rodri with the goal. It's 1-0 to the champions. Yeah, that's the story of it so far. Man City dominant in so many areas of the game. Possession 80%, 16 attempts, multiple corners. Sean Derry alongside me, Tom Rennie, the former Leeds United midfielder, these days Crystal Palace first team coach. Is there an argument to suggest that Man City should be further ahead than this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they missed some brilliant chances. Haaland's missed 2 chances. The one in the opening 30 seconds of the game was a brilliant chance. But Grealish, I mean, for us, we've just been speaking there off air. It's difficult, isn't it? Because he's been involved in loads of the good play for Man City, but when it comes to the crunch, that real ruthlessness is just not showing at the minute. In his game, generally in his game, he's just not showing.
Well, why not? Because, you know, I think he's very talented.
I do.
And winning free kicks is an important thing. As you'll know, working Wilfried Zaha, you know, I mean, it's a very key component to his game, getting free kicks up the field for your team. He's great at that, hard to get off the ball, you know, obviously very skillful, but you watch him and you just think, is this the right team? Is this the right fit?
Well, when he gets the ball, you know, if you're an opponent against him, you can't just single-handedly go man for man because he's got the ability to beat you. So you need to have a little bit of cover, maybe an extra body. So he drags 3 players into your zone. What he is doing now, he is offloading it into them central areas, which is brilliant for Man City. But again, if you're a wide player, you've got to assist and you've got to score. And he's not doing an abundance of that. So it was difficult. It was different at Aston Villa because he had that free rein. He could pop up anywhere in the final third, and he knew that he had that defensive stability behind him. But it's a lot more regimented for Man City. So is he the right fit? I'm not too sure. I do like him, Tom.
Yeah, could have got a hat-trick tonight, though. Just the one goal. Rodri scored it just before half-time. First Premier League goal of the season for him. In the build-up to the goal, you must have admired the work of Gundogan under close proximity to defenders in his own half, and then the work from Kevin De Bruyne, vintage stuff.
Absolutely fantastic. And just before that, Kevin De Bruyne had a little flick round the corner in the other side of the pitch, and you thought, that's ability that you don't see. You know, you just don't see that. And Gundogan's done it on the edge of his box. Man City have broken so incredibly quick. But the most defensive midfielder is the one who goes and taps it in on the 6-yard box. What I will say is his central midfield. I'm going to call him a central midfielder tonight, Rico Lewis. We thought he'd play it right back, but he's popped up in that little midfield position. He's been brilliant for the first 45 minutes.
Yeah. For Leeds United, defensively very well organised at points, and at times have looked threatening, certainly with Nonto, but it doesn't feel like they're going to score tonight unless something changes the way they're playing in that forward line.
Well, I mean, it's even more difficult now that they've conceded just before half-time, because they're going to have to come out. You know, they can't sit in there for too long. I think the block has been probably the best way of dealing with this Manchester City attack, but there's no outlet. They've not got a number 9 who they can play into and play off. And I just think that they're just, I don't know, one-dimensional at the minute.
Are they a striker short? I mean, you mentioned Patrick Bamford, who's unavailable as per usual, really, for Leeds. Is that an area we're coming towards the old January transfer window?
It has to be for Leeds, yeah, because I think Rodrigo is more of a second central centre forward.
Yeah.
He's not a number 9 that leads the attack. He's one that picks up little pockets, you can play into him, but he's spending so much time out of possession that it's tough for Leeds. It's a real tough night for them.
Any chance of City scoring a few goals tonight? I mean, they want to send a message, won't they? Considering it's worth noting to people who don't know what's going on with the World Cup, they're too obsessed with how Morocco are getting on and whatnot of the World Cup. You know, in the Premier League, they're third at the moment. Newcastle currently sit second. They've got to win tonight to go above them. They're miles behind Arsenal, who've lost one game all season. And I mean, it's important to get that fear factor, isn't it, for Man City?
Absolutely, and we've seen the amount of goals that have been scored over the last 72 hours. There's been loads, haven't they? I think Pep Guardiola and Man City will be looking at this game from now at half time to say, come on then, can we go and hit 3 or 4 in the second half? Because they've definitely got the ability to do that.
Does Haaland score tonight?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What will you bet on it?
Not a lot.
Yeah, good. We're not legally allowed to bet on the programme, so I'm glad you said that. You covered us there. I could hear the lawyers calling us as we were speaking. Right, pretty evenly poised game in terms of the scoreline. Leeds got to come out better in the second half. Man City will be hoping to add to their current 1-goal lead. Stay with us. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Tomorrow is Kevin De Bruyne. It's the Kevin De Bruyne show, I'm telling you. He has been absolutely outstanding in this first half.
And City with such a strong bench as well. Leeds will not like the sight of Walker, Phillips, Cancelo, Laporte, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden. They're all on there. All could come on during the second half. At the end of an entertaining first, though, Leeds 0, Manchester City 1.
Lee Blakeman and Steve Stone at Ellen Road. Thank you. Updates from the guys to come from the second half. But now on 5 Live Sport as it approaches 5 minutes to 9 o'clock this Wednesday night. Let's get the
treated in that way, and just and I would just be interested to hear a little bit from your side, like how you feel.
Cutter 30 yards just wide of the bottom corner. Jack Grealish has thrown a temper tantrum, and rightfully so. He's just been poleaxed by Pascal Strout, and referee Stuart Atwell didn't even give him a free kick. Not happy at all, but with half an hour played, it's Leeds 0, Manchester City 0 still.
Thanks very much, Lee. Newcastle United went above Manchester City up to second in the table on Boxing Day with their win against Leicester at the King Power Stadium. City draw tonight would move them back ahead of Newcastle, but it just shows, for all the depth of squad, there is competition now for those places up at the top of the table. And as good as Manchester City are, Arsenal have been better so far this season. And there are others who want to get up in the conversation too. We'll be back in touch with Lee and Steve Stone at Elland Road for any developments there. Half an hour played exactly at Easter Road. 1-0 Celtic leading away at Hibs. Taylor wins the ball well off Cadden. Just feels all of a sudden like all the Celtic players have grown a few inches taller. That goal, giving them an air of, if not quite invincibility, certainly superiority. Moy, the goal scorer, rolls it back to Starfelt. Celtic fans enjoying it. They've taken over both tiers. Away to our right-hand side, singing their songs loudly in the Edinburgh night air. Ink black skies overhead. Rain has eased off a bit. As Abada tried to skim his way beyond Lewis Stevenson, but ran out of pitch. And it goes out for a throw into Hibs, left full-back position for them. Stephen Craigan.
They're just so good with the ball, Celtic. You know, they can take a sting out of the game when they want to go forward and try and pierce the opposition. They're prized and open. Yeah, they can do that, but they're quite happy to move the ball around the back, wait for the gaps to appear, wait for a Hibs player to switch off or be a little bit lazy or drop a runner, and then they look to go and move the ball. And as always, Callum McGregor right at the heart of it.
Cameron Carter-Vickers under a bit of pressure, so he relieves that by playing it to Hatate all the way back to Joe Hart, the goalkeeper. Hart, who started every league game this season. He gives it out to Starfelt, and Celtic move back into Hibs territory. Made of the Japanese international on the left-hand side. Carl McGuinness trying to keep back goal side of him. Aaron Moy back to Starfelt with the long sleeves and the gloves tonight. Moy looks up and spots a bit of room for a bat on the far side. That's a really good ball played towards the Israeli, but his first touch is a little heavy. I mean, it was difficult to pull it down. It had travelled over 50 yards to get to him. Stevenson able to nip in and regain possession for Hibs. They have it at the back. Paul Hanlon to Bashiri at his right-hand side. And Bashiri under pressure from Matt O'Reilly goes back to David Marshall. Still Hibs 0. Celtic 1 here. Back to Elland Road. Leeds Manchester City. Lee.
Leeds 0, Manchester City 0. We've just seen the best chance of the game though go City's way. De Bruyne through ball. Haaland on the end of it into the area. Decent shot. Well blocked by Meslier in the Leeds goal. City with a corner which is going to be swung in by Gundogan towards the near post. Headed away only as far as the edge of the area. Lewis pumps it
to emerge for the start of the second half. We are being told there are no changes at the moment. Though, of course, if we hear different, I will tell you at the time. For now, here are the teams as were. Hilaire Meslier in goal for Leeds. Back four of Pascal Struijk, Liam Cooper, Robin Koch and Rasmus Christensen. Midfield, Mark Roca, Adam Forshaw and Sam Greenwood. Brendan Aronson, Rodrigo and Wilfried Gnonto, the front three. For Manchester City, Ederson in goal. The formation's been a bit weird. It's Nathan Ake, Manuel Akanji and John Stones, kind of a three-man defence. Rico Lewis and Rodri in central midfield. Gundogan just in front of that pairing. Then Kevin De Bruyne kind of doing whatever he wants. Riyad Mahrez, Jack Grealish and Erling Haaland completing the starting 11. What do you make of the formation, Sean? We touched on it a bit at half-time, but I was about to give it there as a 4-3-3, but it's nowhere near a 4-3-3.
No, I don't. I think it's more of a box midfield where you've got two holding, sitting midfielders with Lewis and obviously you've got Rodri. And I just think they double up in like two number 10s behind Erling Haaland. But the rotation's unbelievable. It looks completely different from one picture to the next. But what we do know is that they've got a back three and two holding midfielders.
I was just trying to work out a kind of number setup to try and help people listening, like in the old days of doing the FA Cup in the 1920s. It's kind of a 3-2-2-2-1.
Yeah.
That's mad, but that feels right.
It definitely is a back three in their build-up.
Anyway, we hope that helps, folks. Here's the bench for Leeds United. Joel Robles, Luke Ayling, Junior Firpo, Crescentia Somerville, Jack Harrison, Diego Lorente, Darko JB, Joe Gelhardt and Matthias Klick. For Man City, Stefan Ortega, Kyle Walker, Calvin Phillips, once off this parish, of course.
Just
thin enough for the bench. João Cancelo,
two number 10s behind Erling Haaland. But the rotation's unbelievable. It looks completely different from one picture to the next. But what we do know is that they've got a back three and two holding midfield.
A kind of number setup to try and help people listening, like in the old days of doing the FA Cup in the 1920s. It's kind of a 3-2-2-2-1.
Yeah.
That's mad, but that feels right.
It definitely is a back three in their build-up.
Anyway, we hope that helps, folks. Here's the bench for Leeds United. Joel Robles, Luke Ayling, Junior Firpo, Crescentia Somerville, Jack Harrison, Diego Lorente, Darko JB, including one which, unfortunately for him, led to the opening goal. Little foul there from Rodri on Aronson, unpunished, would you believe it? Done well, Aronson, to find Greenwood forward. Then down the left channel is Rodrigo, up against the Kanji. Forshaw on the corner of the penalty area. Poor pass towards Aronson, and Rodri clears it. Haaland chasing, Meslier clearing, forward by Rodri. De Bruyne wants this, you know. If he can keep it on, there could be trouble. He's almost gone for a first-time shot from the sideline there, which would have been incredible if it went anywhere near goal. It didn't, so it wasn't. It's a goal kick.
We just saw a little opportunity there for Leeds to get the ball into the box. It's so important that when Leeds do get in that final third, that they put the ball in the box. And I know they haven't got a big number 9 who's going to get on the end of things, but you've still got to challenge the back four the back three for this Man City team. Leeds
once again give the ball away poorly. Cooper's flipped down the left channel towards Nonto. Straight into touch, and Jesse Marsh does a few kick-ups, then volleys it to Rico Lewis. Not in the light green stretchy jeggings tonight, Jesse Marsh. Just standard normal adult man black trousers by the look of it. Can a man in his 40s wear jeggings, Sean? Is that acceptable?
If you're Jesse Marsh, you can wear whatever jeggings in whatever colour you want.
A foul here on Jack Grealish, who can't wear jeggings with those calves. He couldn't wear drain pipes in the good old Indy days. He has won a free kick for his team, though. That probably is one from Christensen. It's frustrating for fans because he is, the boy who cried wolf, Jack Grealish, but that was a foul, that one. Sideline, 10 over the halfway, City free kick. Christensen having a bit of a talking to from the referee. With the goal scorer Rodri and Ake. And down the line to Mr. Grealish. Finds Rico Lewis in a bit of space, the impressive teenager. It's right to Riyad Mahrez, multiple Premier League winner. Rodri then back to John Stones on the halfway line. The second half falls into a familiar pattern to the first, with City having the ball, Leeds looking to nick it and pounce. As Ake drives forward through the gap. Gundogan will get there before Koch. That was poor for the Leeds defender. And here's Ake. Tries to clip it towards Haaland in the 6-yard box, but Meslier is a giant of a goalkeeper and he's able to put his arms up and make the catch. Well, no significant changes in the style of play from Leeds so far.
No, not just yet. Just looking at their bench in terms of, how can they affect this game the longer it goes on. I suppose from a number 9 point of view, you can only look at Gelhardt being that guy who can come in with a little bit of enthusiasm, aggression in the final third. It's going to be tough for the second half for Leeds, but they've got to dig in there, they've got to hang in there as long as they possibly can. But we know the threat of this Man City team. And their bench is completely different, by the way.
Yes.
With a lot of quality.
As ever, star-studded, included the star player of Leeds United for the last couple of years, Calvin Phillips, who's barely played a minute for Man City. Fair enough, it's because of injury and whatnot, but they buy your best player, they don't even need him.
Well,
it's quite annoying, isn't it?
It probably highlights where the two teams are. I mean, we've just been caught as well.
Lewis caught, but City play on. It's down the line to Riyad Mahrez in the area, tries to get away from Cooper, who's done really well there actually. Went to ground but won the ball, and Nonto can counter, and Mahrez will foul him, as they do. I mean, that's got to be a yellow card, ref. They do it on purpose. Surely you watch them play.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Every game, every time.
They stop it at source within 3 to 5 seconds. The counter press, and if they can't get the ball back, they tug a shirt. It's a little clip of the heels.
No yellow. I mean, why? If you know it, and I know it, and everyone down the road knows it, why doesn't Stuart Atwell punish it?
And they do it in a way that's, they show no emotion with the way that they foul. Sometimes you can be...
Ball chance here, Grealish has stolen it, Cooper's given it away, and Grealish is in, and it's square to Haaland! And that's 2-0, and that's the goal we all expected from Erling Haaland. Big celebration from Jack Grealish, who's missed some big chances tonight. But this time he squares it to Erling Haaland in front of his old man, who's here back at Ellen Road. And it's Erling Haaland scoring again in the Premier League. 2-0.
Well, Leeds United have completely shot themselves in the foot there. Brilliant. To be fair to Jack Grealish, he comes central, press the two centre-halves, Cooper in particular, and look at Haaland. Look how quick he is to get inside the box, and you're just not stopping him. Fair play to Jack Grealish there. I think after the first half, where he might be chasing a goal, the unselfishness of him there to just put it on a plate for Erlon was brilliant. 2-0, game over. Has to be.
19 goals in the Premier League now this season for Erling Haaland. And I'll take your point completely on Jack Grealish there, maybe searching for a goal, but I would imagine Pep Guardiola would have had his guts for garters if he took a shot there and missed it with Haaland square for a tap-in.
Yeah, and maybe, at a previous club, Villa there, he probably would have gone and, maybe gone for himself, but you've got to do that as a Manchester City player. It's team before self all the time.
A little break in play here. It's not because of a goal check, City fans, so don't be concerned about that. The assistant referee has had some sort of technical issue. Looks like his little buzzer they wear on their arms to let them know when an offside should be given. Yada yada yada. He's having his phone fixed or something. He's at the Genius Bar. I don't know. He'll be back in a minute.
It gives us the opportunity to just wax lyrical again about Erling Haaland. He's hardly been involved in many parts of tonight's game.
Could have scored 3.
Could have had a trick, absolutely. Probably should have. But he's got his one. I'm sure there's going to be more.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I know it's still a long way to go. We're not at the halfway point in the season yet, but I'll tell you what, we might have one heck of a title race here between City, Arsenal, Newcastle. There's others that might well come out of that pack as well. Very strong at the top teams this year.
I think Liverpool will have a good second half of the season. They started incredibly poor by their standards. It was a big win the other day against Villa.
What are we going to get now for 40 minutes? Did you bring a book? Or?
I've got a book of how Manchester City have scored 4s, 5s and 6 over the last 8 or 9 seasons. I'm going to start reading that, I think, Tom.
Very tough night now for Leeds United. 2-0 down against Manchester City is a horrible place to be. But with football it just takes a moment. That's why it's the greatest sport in the world, as Nonto tries to get Leeds upfield down the left wing, challenged by Kevin De Bruyne. Throw in Leeds.
What a challenge for these Man City lads as well, to be so far behind at this stage of the season, with their quality that they've got, chasing that top team Arsenal. And you can imagine the conversations they have in their changing rooms, because they're not used to finishing second, are they?
Yeah. The ball clearly went out of play there. Guardiola thought it did. It looked like it had to me as well, but it wasn't given. And here's Nonto trying to get Leeds moving upfield. Lovely footwork, good effort too. It's blocked by Stones. Breaks to Christensen. Probably the worst man in that position for the ball to have fallen to for Leeds. His shot is then blocked, and Man City can break away with Gundogan trying to find the power run of Kevin De Bruyne. Cooper's got to get there and diving back towards his own goal. He does. Knocks it back to Melier. That ball was about too far off, wasn't it?
Well, that just highlights this team, doesn't it? They're always striving for more. At 2-0 up, absolutely coasting at this moment in time. Pep Guardiola's going mad because he's not got it.
Aronson, lovely nutmeg, and a shot, a goal too. He got away from Rodri, but got right underneath the shot, the USA international. A good play there from him and Nonto, who have looked lively. It's not a great effort. Trying to cut across it. There's a goal in this Leeds team though, there's some very good technical players there, those two especially, I think.
Yeah, I like the look of Nonto. He's really, his purpose in the final third is to get his head down, run at you, make things happen. It's pacey.
Jack Grealish fouled again. This time it's Roca who fouls him. That one probably was a foul as well. Well, yeah, it's a knee in the stomach.
Has Rodri given the ball away yet?
I don't think he or Rico Lewis have the entire game. No.
They've been brilliant, haven't they?
Riyad Mahrez gives the ball away here, trying to get around Pascal Strout. Mahrez has won it back, then Roca has nicked it back, then De Bruyne has nicked it back, then Forshaw has nicked it back. The Leeds have it now with Strout down the line, blocked by Riyad Mahrez. Well, it's the the Leeds fans, you can hear creating the atmosphere here at Ellen Road. They've not given up. They're certainly enjoying themselves. Wouldn't have expected to beat Man City, sure. And they're certainly competing against them. 2-0 down as things stand here on Premier League Live. Just a reminder, we are back with you here on Friday with further Premier League football. Liverpool against Leicester City. The Brendan Rodgers derby at Anfield is our feature game. 8 o'clock UK time, that one gets underway. But I'll be suffering the torture and torment of West Ham against Brentford. That's available to our online and digital partners. So you're well covered on Premier League Live on Friday, as you are here. As Man City are leading Leeds by 2-0. He's 4 short. Approaching the offensive third from Leeds, but ready to go forward. So it's back to Christensen. Further back towards the halfway line in Cock, in Rocker, good pass to Forshaw in the pocket, down the line to Christensen, good early ball, blocked by Akanji. Rodri passes upfield to Mahrez, caught by Strout momentarily, but Mahrez wins it back, and he finds Nathan Ake. And then Grealish knocks it upfield to Gundogan, flicked on towards Haaland. Lovely footwork by Gundogan. Cooper's challenge was firm but fair. De Bruyne looks offside. He is offside. So the through ball to Haaland will come to nothing. Those little touches from Ilkay Gundogan, those first time on the turn. Total control. It doesn't seem like he's got control.
He's such a clever player, isn't he? You know, he's always seen pictures before he's even got the ball. I mean, they're top players.
Kind of an unsung hero at Manchester City. There's another foul from Rodri. Once again, Stuart Atwell lets it go.
How many fouls has Rodri committed tonight?
We should have kept a tally. I think that's about 4.
I think I've counted 4 or 5 there. I mean, it's got to be a booking.
Well, he'll keep on doing it until he gets one. And someone else will start doing it. Well, to be fair, I think in general Stuart Atwell tonight has been a bit reticent to book people. Really been, I'm not sure the right word is, a particularly competitive game so far. It just feels like a bit of a defence v attack training match at times. Not seen much from Leeds so far, which will be disappointing for Jesse Marsh, who I think would have thought, coupled with the breakaways, there's been moments where that pass into the offensive third to Rodrigo, if that comes off, they've got maybe a 3-on-2, 4-on-2. It's not happening.
Well, you're hopeful, aren't you? You know, because it's paused for 6 weeks and you're hopeful you're going to catch Manchester City at a good time, maybe a little bit rusty, a couple of weeks training, a lot of international players in the World Cup. But fair play to them tonight. Man City have done their jobs, and it's been a 7 out of 10 by their standards.
Rico Lewis getting stuck in again. 50-50 with Strout, bounces away from both. It breaks to Nathan Ake on the far side. Kevin De Bruyne, goal side of the midfield, pokes it on to Haaland, then to Gundogan, who's missed it in the penalty area. I think there's a good challenge on him. At last second there from Christensen on the cover. But it's 2-0, and it really could be any at the moment for Man City. They are creating chances at will here.
Again, just them little pockets that Kevin De Bruyne picks up in Gundogan. So hard to mark.
Calvin Phillips out for a warm-up here at Ellen Road, being reminded of his what Pep Guardiola might call a weight problem by some of the fans. Mahrez delivery in, flicked on towards the back post, away as far as Grealish, who picks it up. Shuffle cross towards the back post, trying to find Mahrez. Nonto and Aronson bring it away, but Gundogan has robbed it back again. Oh, the referee's given a free kick in post. Fair enough. Aronson's gone down. Looks like he won it well there, but or maybe it was Akanji we're seeing on the replay who did catch Aronson unnecessarily. And he went with the Guardiola foul and it wasn't required.
I know we've spoke about it a lot tonight, Tom, but I've never seen a team like it. You know, in the whole time that I've been watching this Premier League, it's you've got to say it's clever in a way.
It's clever, but I'm surprised that
because they
no
just
one's
manipulate
complained
the
to
rules,
the officials
don't they?
like they're doing it. you want to cry to mother about being pinched by your brother, but it's what's happening. Eventually someone's got to stop this. Anyway, they're not gonna. 60 minutes gone, 62 on the clock in fact. It's 2-0 to Manchester City for those just joining us. Rodri at the back end of the first half, and Erling Haaland at the start of the second. Man City in almost total cruise control, 70-30 possession in their favour, 19 shots, 6 on target to 4 from Leeds, nothing testing the goalkeeper so far. Just can't get near him, Leeds. Unless City give it away, as they have here to Forshaw. Monto's overrun it, that's a foul from Rico Lewis. He's going to get a yellow card here as well. Well, after all the fouls we've seen today, that's probably worthy of one, I suppose, but I'm surprised it's not Rodri, I think, is my genuine feeling there. Strange.
Well, it's amazing, really, because only 2 or 3 seconds before, Rico Lewis is on the other end of a foul, just similar to what he's just been cautioned for there. So that's what annoys you as a player, as a coach, as a manager, whatever you are. It's just that you never know what you're getting from one referee to the next.
Well, Leeds do not look like scoring in this game, so you feel like if they're going to get back into it, they'll need to pop something like this in the top corner. It's 30 yards from goal, maybe slightly over that actually. It's left of centre, it's just outside the line of the goalkeeper's right post, the left side from an attacking perspective. Greenwood's over it, Rocker is over it, Forshaw is doing his laces up nearby.
Well, we've seen Greenwood score from this opportunity a lot for the younger squad, the 23s. Right. He's definitely got quality in front of goal.
Well, it looks like it's going to be Sam Greenwood. He's got extreme left of the ball for a curler. Forshaw's now walked away from it. 4-man wall for Manchester City. It is Greenwood. It's straight into that 4-man wall. The thigh of Haaland gets the ball clear. Not a great execution at all. Cleared by Ake. Controlled by Hock. Loses out to Rodri and Gundogan. And Kevin De Bruyne will now carry City upfield into that familiar driving run style, and he finds Riyad Mahrez back in field. Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, Erling Haaland on the edge, onto Jack Grealish, cuts it back, Haaland, 3-0. Haaland's second, Manchester City's third. It's lovely football from Manchester City, all the big names involved, and Erling Haaland has now been set up twice by Jack Grealish. Meslier maybe could have done better, but even a goalkeeper who has played as well as Meslier has tonight can't stop Erling Haaland scoring. It's now 3-0.
It starts off with a brilliant, absolute sublime pass there by Kevin De Bruyne. He can just pick a fantastic pass out at will, but the movement of Erling Haaland, you'd be expecting his centre forward to really forcefully get inside the 6-yard box, but he just hung out. Lovely little pullback there by Jack Grealish, and we thought he could score his goals. We know he can. He scored 2 in this opening period of the second half, and it is well and truly now game over.
20 goals now in the Premier League this season for Erling Haaland. Leeds making a couple of changes here. That they had thought of these before the Haaland third. Forshaw and Christensen withdrawn for Click and Ayling. Christensen and Forshaw off. Luke Ayling is continuing to struggle for form and fitness, having had a couple of long-term injuries. Click, who might be leaving the club during the transfer window, is on in a familiar position in central midfield for Leeds. So a 3-0 down with Ayling coming forward. It's another foul by Rodri. Again, no yellow card for Rodri. It's a free kick for Leeds on the right-hand side. Well, I wish we'd kept a tally now, but it's at least 5.
The quiet assassin Rodri doesn't show any emotion, does he, when he commits these fouls?
It's free kick to Leeds United, right-hand side, sideline, about 12 yards from the corner flag. Greenwood is over it. Leaves it for Rocco's delivery is deep. Referee has blown his whistle here. Gundogan has gone down. He wasn't signalling for a free kick, I don't think. Looks like maybe he might have run into a stray arm from Liam Cooper there. Not so clear what's happening here. I think the free kick's still going to be retaken. I'm not sure it's been given as a foul against Gundogan, so it is going to be retaken here, which might do Leeds a favour, as that it actually floated straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. João Cancelo about to come on, by the way. We're hearing Rico Lewis, the man to be withdrawn. 67 minutes gone, 3-0 City. Same routine, same delivery. This time the keeper fingertips it away as opposed to catches it. It didn't work the first time, so try it again.
So we'll do exactly the same in the second free kick. I think when you play against a Man City like this, and of course the game's done, it's well and truly been put to bed, but the set plays for Leeds have been really poor, haven't they?
Yeah. Screamer's ball in, away by De Bruyne. Breaks maybe to Ayling at the back post. It came off Akanji last, surely. Well, I don't think the assistant referee again on that far side knew what was happening. That's not the first time tonight that's happened. It's been given as a goal kick. Stuart Atwell couldn't see it. Wasn't helped out. I mean, it looked like it came off Akanji's head, and Akanji just heads it into touch. It's a corner kick.
Listen, I don't know how a linesman gets that wrong. He's got a brilliant view of it. He's played really well, Rico Lewis, tonight. I mean, a real assured performance. Just gets better. I watched him last week in the League Cup against Liverpool. I thought he was very good that night as well, but he was outstanding today. It's a real mature performance he's put in.
He is withdrawn to be replaced by João Cancelo, making his 150th appearance for Man City in all competitions. The Portuguese international fullback. 3-0 down, and they're bringing on top-level players like João Cancelo. That's the issue for everyone else.
Yeah, and he's just adopted that similar position, straight into midfield alongside Rodrigo.
How difficult is it now for Jesse Marsh, for Leeds United, for their players? And the fans have given, good showing tonight, trying to keep things going, but there's so long to go, Sean.
It's damage limitations, isn't it? You don't want this to be hitting 5s and 6s. So that really takes you into a negative mindset going into the next game. It's difficult against Man City, but you don't want to be hit for 6.
There's Nonto in the attacking third for Leeds, trying to find Aronson. Cancelo reads it, passes forward. Riyad Mahrez. Back to Cancelo, loses out to Sam Greenwood. Click will find Rocco behind him, beats one, then two, finds Nonto. Clip towards the penalty area, over Rodrigo, nowhere near Ayling. City can break away. Big old throw there from Edison, and he's found Jack Grealish, who's away down the left-hand side. Draws the foul from Matthias Klick. That is a foul from Klick, and that's a yellow card for Leeds substitute. And that's probably the biggest cheer we've heard tonight, from the home fans at least.
He takes some hits, doesn't he, Grealish? I'm guessing you like him all over him, but he does take a lot of hits.
And now Nonto is getting into Jack Grealish's face, the young teenager. Well, why not? Not quite sure why, but he's getting a yellow card as well. Seeing a replay here, he kind of ran over and pushed him. I didn't see that as I was looking at my notes. He ran over, gave him a little shove and laughed in his face. Well, there you go. Again, gave the home crowd something to enjoy.
But he loves it, Grealish, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he loves being that pantomime villain.
And you love it even more when you're 3-0 up. Could have scored a hat-trick, sure, but he set up 2 of the goals. Haaland on a hat-trick here. De Bruyne tries to slip him in. Melier slides out and gets there first. Final plenty for Leeds to try and find a way back in this game. Further substitutions about to happen for both teams. One of the worst things about football at the moment is the 5 substitutes. I can't stand the 5 subs.
I'm the same. I'm not a massive fan. Of course, it makes the big teams even stronger. Yeah. You know, it causes difficulties for the smaller clubs. But the big thing for me, it just takes the whole flow out of the game for the second half. You know, the last 20 minutes is stop-start.
Further changes here. Rodrigo withdrawn for Geldhard. And Lorente on for Cooper. And we're hearing Jack Grealish about to come off, so get ready for some big old boos here from the home crowd. There they are. Phil Foden going to come on to replace him. Your thoughts on Jack Grealish's overall performance as he's withdrawn?
I think for him, he'll be disappointed that he's not got his goals tonight. You know, I think his performance has warranted his goals. But what a big player he is for Man City. He really is. I mean, he occupies 2 or 3 players. He creates space for the other teammates like De Bruyne and Gundogan. He just got to start scoring more, Tom. I think he's played well there tonight.
Yeah.
I do. I think he's played well. His manager will be happy, won't he? You know, because it's a team. There's no other team in the Premier League like this Man City, which is all about the overall 11 players.
A corner here for Leeds United. On the left-hand side, Greenwood will take it right-footed. Chance, and it's a goal! And it's Pascal Stroud with the header. Ederson got a hand on it, but couldn't keep it out. Really good delivery. Stroud with the back header. And all of a sudden Leeds are back in the game, and it's not a testimonial anymore.
Well, it's passive, isn't it? You know, they've just made the subs. You don't want to be making subs when you're defending a corner either. I'm not a massive fan of that. I think he's just worked his way off Foden, which Foden will be disappointed with because he's just come on the pitch. But you've got to say, it's the first time Leeds have put a real quality set play into the box. And it's a great header there by Strutt.
Second Premier League goal of the season for Pascal Stroud, scored in the loss against Crystal Palace before the World Cup, September time, and has now scored against Man City. Really good header, and I'm sure it changes things to the greatest of degrees, but certainly makes things interesting again when it was all getting a bit sleepy here.
Yeah, and I think what it does, I mean, it might give us a better 20 minutes going forward as well, because Leeds might just carry a little bit of belief now that they can go and score the second.
Just takes a couple of corners, doesn't it?
Which is dangerous for them at the same time.
There's Ederson being pressured by Nonto. Click then chasing down Ake. Comes off Click last. Throw in for Manchester City. Who've taken off maybe their most effective player on the night, Jack Grealish, for Phil Foden. Ake's throw into Haaland. Challenged by Rocker. Then Aronson tries to turn Rodri. Now a play for a throw on the far side. 15 minutes remaining. Leeds United 1. Manchester City 3 here on Premier League Live. Simple game sometimes, football. Knock it in the area to the big centre half, score a goal.
It's a good delivery, isn't it, by Greenwood?
Ball here from Kevin De Bruyne out to Riyad Mahrez. City try and reassert their dominance. Here is Kevin De Bruyne. Tries a side foot into the bottom corner. It's well saved once again by Ilhan Meslier. I don't think the scoring's done here, you know. Stroud who's found the back of the net for Leeds. Nonto into Aronson, challenged by Stones. That's a free kick. Once again, a Guardiola free kick, unpunished. Rocket to Click in the centre circle for Leeds United. Gelhardt tries to get away from Akanji, who's won it back. Okay, Rodri and Stones pass it along their own penalty area. Gelhardt chasing, Nonto chasing, Aronson chasing. Suddenly it's all alert and alive again for Leeds United. Ederson across his own 6-yard box, the kind of thing you wouldn't have seen in football maybe 10 years ago, let alone 20, 30 years ago. clips it upfield. Haaland, lovely flick to Kevin De Bruyne. Mahrez wants it. Here he is now, right hand side. 4 forward for City. Not overcommitting here. Cancelo left to Ake. Approaching the offensive third. Leeds have players back. Foden challenged by Gelhardt. Foden not looking too sharp here since coming on.
No, he starts slowly, hasn't he? You know, he's come on, he's replaced Grealish on that left-hand side, but a little bit laboured in possession. It was his man that, you know, he wasn't marking strike very well in for the Leeds goal.
Leeds just keep getting it wrong in this area, and they've clipped it forward again here, just from defence into midfield. That forward pass straight to Jesse Marsch into touch, where if they get that right, they've got Aronson and Gelhardt and Nonto who can run at Man City. They keep getting that bit wrong. It must be so frustrating for these. It's frustrating me. Here comes City trying to wrap this one up, and here comes Haaland trying to score a hat-trick, and here is Erling Haaland, saved by Meslier again. He just didn't get anything behind the shot there, Erling Haaland, and Meslier went to ground, and I don't think he could believe he'd saved it.
You can't believe that Erling Haaland's not got 5 or 6. I mean, a real opportunity to get 5 goals tonight.
He just seems to get in so easy, doesn't he? I mean, I know it's not easy, but that looks so easy.
The combination play leading into it with Rodrigo there, a little 1-2 round the corner, and he's been excellent tonight, Rodrigo.
Ball into Gundogan. Haaland, then Cancelo wins it. Oh, the referee's given a free kick Leeds way here. Foul by Haaland. I don't know what he's given there. I think Leeds can breathe a sigh of relief as Cancelo was through. I mean, there's no foul there. If anything, it's a foul on Cancelo that should have been given. Anyway, we play on as Brendan Aronson picks it up on the left-hand side. Cuts it back. Chance! Oh! It's just wide from Gelhardt, who was sniffing around the 6-yard box. He got there from the fired ball in, and it's just spun agonisingly wide.
What a chance. What a chance for Leeds United. They've been crying out for chances like that. He's got to cross the face of the goal. He's got to score, hasn't he? He knows as well he's beating the floor.
Well, that was good striker play there from Joe Gelhardt. Sniffer stuff from the young forward who's just come on. And that's a big chance in this match as Gundogan is fouled here. Midway inside City's own half by Greenwood, whose fire ball to Gelhardt there nearly led to Leeds second. I actually went 4-2 on my predictor for this game to Man City. I'm getting pretty annoyed that I'm not right. I should be right by now.
You could still get that time. I mean, we've just seen a replay there of Erling Haaland. It didn't look comfortable, did he, putting it onto his right foot? We know he's such a dominant left-footed player.
John Stones to Kevin De Bruyne in their own half in Man City. I'd be a bit surprised at how uncomfortable things have got in the last few minutes, considering they were cruising to victory not long ago. Erling Haaland scoring his second and City's third in the 65th. We're up to the 80th now. It's 3-1 to Manchester City. Ayling giving a good option over on the right-hand side for Leeds since coming on. Forward pass blocked by Ake. Throw into Leeds, which Ayling's trying to take quickly and a bit further upfield than the assistant referee would like. Into Gelhardt. Good player Gelhardt. Back to Ayling. Flicked by Aronson. Cleared by Rodri and Gundogan. Kanji under pressure gets it away. Not particularly far. City trying to break. They've got to play it down, but they tried to break, so Leeds are playing on. And Rodri has done yet another foul. And surely, referee, surely he'll be getting yellow carded now. Finally he will. He pushes Nonto on the edge. And this is a real chance for Leeds United here. It's an arm up on the shoulder. It's maybe a soft foul, but Nonto's done the right thing in going down. He has impeded him.
It was a great opportunity here for Leeds. They've not had too many times where they've found themselves in front of the Manchester City goal, but if Gelhardt or Greenwood could just find that little bit of quality, you know, they could have a brilliant 10 minutes to play.
Well, Leeds suddenly fancy this. Free kick is quite close to the penalty area, maybe 4 yards away from the edge. It's just left of centre. You've got to get this up and down, or you've got to fire it low and hard and hope it ricochets through. That's where teams usually bring in the draft excluder in the wall. And there's someone doing that there. I think it's Cancelo. No, it's Foden doing the draft excluder behind the wall. It's going to be Sam Greenwood again who fancies this one. Rocker's there too. It's left of centre, 28 yards away from goal. Big chance this for Leeds United. Greenwood wants to get it right. It's up, it's down, but it's just off target from Sam Greenwood. Better execution this time, but still not good enough.
Well, he hit the wall, didn't he, in the previous free kick, which was a disappointing free kick. That's equally as disappointing for me. He's got more quality in his distribution, in his delivery than that.
Just seeing a replay on our monitors here of Pep Guardiola booting a bottle in frustration for some reason. It's gone into the Leeds bench. He immediately ran over to apologise for booting it. Managers actually get punishment for booting bottles, don't they, the coaching staff? That could be an issue there for Guardiola. Another change here for Leeds United. Looks like Brendan Aronson's going on to be in. He is going to be replaced for the final change they can make by Darko JB. Should be the final change they are going to be able to make here, Leeds United. Another young player, 18 years of age, Darko JB. Brought in from Manchester City in the summer as part of the deal that saw Calvin Phillips go to Manchester City.
Yeah, it went unnoticed really, that signing, didn't it, in the summer?
Do you know him? I don't know much about him really.
Only to see him a few times when he's played in the junior ranks for City. You know, an out and out midfielder, just to shore it up a little bit for Leeds.
Wearing 18, goes straight into central midfield. I've always played through to Edison. Gelhardt chasing him down, pushes Akanji into the goalkeeper. He looked more of a proposition with Joe Gelhardt up front.
But he's got a bit about him, hasn't he? He gets under your skin as a centre-half. He's always in and around the action. The fans love him here at Ellen Road.
Yeah, got a real centre-forward vibe around him. I like him. Scores goals, gets in there, nicks chances. And settled Edison and Akanji there, but City have still got the ball. John Stones. We're in the 85th minute. It's 3-1 to Manchester City against Leeds United here on Premier League Live. Strout, Leeds goal scorer, wins a header from a loose ball in midfield. Forward by Rodri, back forward by Strout again. And back by Rodri, who has now been yellow carded, by the way, after that foul on Gnonto, if he just went out to make a cup of tea while that was happening. Ake, Gundogan turns away from Gelhardt. City just struggling to take the sting from this game at the moment, which is credit to Leeds United, as Bremer's done another foul on that far side, this time on Kevin De Bruyne. A few from him tonight. Not surprising, he's going to go into the referee's notebook, who suddenly found his card in the last few minutes.
There'd be an argument, wouldn't there, to say that, you know, that the Man City fouls have not been punished, but the Leeds fouls have been so blatant.
Yes, yeah.
They've been kicks and they've been real bad kind of like pulls on the shirt. Man City fouls are a lot more subtle, aren't they?
Yes, there are more of them, but they're, yeah, as you say, a lot more subtle. Leeds have been getting stuck in.
They've been kicking them off the pitch.
City getting through it so far. Tough test coming to Ellen Road for any team. Stones forward, Mahrez round the corner. Cancelo flicks on. De Bruyne gets the next ball. Gets away from Llorente. Finds Gundogan. Looks for Foden. Cleared by Llorente. Foden's really struggled since coming on. De Bruyne gets there before Ayling, shouted handball, not given. Foden can't get there before Koch, who clears it up and out for a throw-in on the far side.
They've missed Grealish, haven't they, these last 15 minutes?
I think you're right. I do think you're right. We all have.
We've missed him,
for entertainment value.
They have, but genuinely they have. They've really missed him.
Foden trying to provide an impact left-hand side. City still looking for another goal to put this game to bed, despite being 3-1 up. Cross comes in, away by Llorente. Rocky just fell on the ball there, and allows City to win it back with minutes remaining. Rodri down the line to Ake. Ake onto Foden. Foden tries a return. It's blocked by Sam Greenwood. Worked hard tonight, Sam Greenwood.
They have. You can't really say that Leeds United haven't put a shift in, because they have. You know, it's difficult to play against Man City, and they've been organised defensively at times. It's just the quality that this City team have got.
Throw into Haaland. And corner for his team. On a hat-trick still, Erling Haaland. I think there are people I know a couple of people who have a bet on Haaland to score a hat-trick every game.
That in itself is incredible, isn't it? You know, when you see a player like that who's got that ability to score as many goals as Haaland, he's a one-off.
We're about to come off here. Cole Palmer looks ready to come on. As Kevin De Bruyne takes this free kick towards Haaland, won by Rodri into Ake, breaks here for Stones, who fires over the top. Yet another really good chance for Manchester City to put this game finally and belatedly to bed, unable to do so.
Yeah, just we've seen him score from them opportunities, haven't we? John Stones there, be disappointed. Mahrez coming off.
Yes, we have Mahrez here withdrawn for Cole Palmer. Thought on him tonight, Mahrez?
He's been in and out of the game, hasn't he? He's not really been as kind of efficient as you'd normally see. I thought he was outstanding against Liverpool last week.
More Premier League minutes for Cole Palmer, who is just gradually becoming a bit of a regular in this team.
I like him, Tom. I think he's a very good player.
Still trying to find a position, maybe. Is he a forward? Is he a winger? Is he a midfielder? Is he a 10?
He's a good player.
Does it matter at Man City?
I don't think it does, you know, in them final areas, you know, them final positions at the top of the pitch. Pep Guardiola, he likes movement, doesn't he? He likes people exchanging positions.
Good pressing here from Leeds United, JB and Nonto. Here is Nonto, on to Click, in the area, chance for JB, he's won it back on the edge, shoots a goal, here's Gelhardt, nice little turn, can't get the shot away, Foden clears. Recovered by Leeds United. Trying to set up that grandstand finish. We neutral certainly won. Greenwood on the right hand side, blocked by City. Throw in taken, maybe a bit too soon. Ake gets there before Click and clears. Good challenge by JB again. Looks a physical presence in there. Alongside Erling Haaland, if you're not looking smaller than him, you must be pretty sizeable.
Yeah, he's got great physicality, hasn't he? JB has just come on. We've not seen an awful lot about him, but no, he looks like a Leeds player, doesn't he? You know, gets around the pitch and breaks things up and uses the ball. Got into the final area there quite aggressively.
Well, I'm told it was quite an important part of the Calvin Phillips deal that he went the other way, so obviously well scouted as someone who can replace Calvin Phillips in the long term, or medium term at least.
Yeah, some big boots to fill.
Touch back here to Ederson, a bit short. Monto tried to nick it, couldn't do so. Cleared long to Haaland, who won't get that.
Do you know what? I think Guardiola will be a little bit frustrated with tonight. You know, because they've never really been in danger other than putting themselves in danger, Manchester City.
5 minutes will be added on at the end of the 90. We are into those now as Gelhardt once again does brilliantly. And he finds JB and it's into Ayling on the right hand side. Poor first touch. Chance for Joe Gelhardt, who got there first again. He looks so dangerous, Gelhardt. This may well have come off the goalkeeper last year. It's a bit of a scramble after his touch. It'll be a Leeds corner, I think. He's in there again, isn't he? I think Ederson just spilled it.
Yeah. he might have just played himself into the starting 11 for the next game for Leeds. A little cameo that Gallart's. He's made the difference, hasn't he?
Corner for Leeds United. They've scored from one already tonight. Edison will catch this one though. It's over Strout, the scorer of the only Leeds goal. He went to the near post, but that may well be the last big chance that Leeds can muster. On another day, you know, they could be looking at getting something from this game. They've had some decent chances now, Leeds.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it? You know, you can lose at home against Manchester City at the best of times, but there's a lot of positives from the Leeds United performance tonight.
Yeah, lovely play from Kevin De Bruyne. Crossfield now to Cole Palmer. Corner of the area, outside and inside, wants a release pass, finds Cancelo. Back to Palmer again, who will just keep possession here as opposed to trying anything else extravagant. Over the top to him here, Llorente will get there. Palmer beats him to it. Chance for Cancelo, that's a shot block. Chance for Haaland, that's blocked too. Kevin De Bruyne away from JB. Carries towards the corner flag. Wants to win a corner for his team. In the end, he's given the ball away, and that's a poor challenge there on JB from Cole Palmer, who'll know each other from playing for City's young sides. It's a poor challenge, yellow card.
Yeah, it was a poor challenge, but again, in the manner of Manchester City, making them fouls high up the pitch, they just take the bookings for the team, don't they? They don't care.
Got to be a bit more subtle than that, though, if you're going to play for Manchester City.
Got a lot of time to grow into that subtleness of fouling high up the pitch for Man City.
Just a reminder, we are back with you on Friday here on Premier League Live. Liverpool-Leicester is our feature match. We'll also have full commentary of West Ham, struggling Hammers at the moment against Brentford from the Bowl of Disappointment. That's from 7:45 UK time, available to our online and digital partners. Full programme as well on New Year's Eve. Wolves against Man United, forgive me, our feature game. Man City, Everton and Brighton Arsenal, our picks of the litter on Saturday. We'll also have games for you on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday next week. And look out for Tuesday, Arsenal against Newcastle. Should be quite tasty. Not going to be first against second, because City have retaken second tonight with the result we are expecting to be confirmed in a couple of minutes from now. Good looking game, that one, Arsenal-Newcastle.
Oh, absolutely, be brilliant. Tell a story really about where Arsenal really are against a real strong opponent in Newcastle. They've been excellent.
Got my ticket through today for that one. Very much excited about taking a trip to North London for that.
Should be.
And of course, it's available here on Premier League Live, so make sure you join us around the world. A final minute here, not a great deal going on. Not got that finish that maybe Jesse Marsh would have been hoping for, as City have just finally taken control of this game in the second half.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Pep Guardiola a bit, of course, happy with tonight's result, but slightly disappointed in certain aspects of the game. Delighted, of course, with his number 9 scoring 2, back in form again.
Cancelo loses the ball. Chance here for Leeds United to create a chance with Donso. Looks a little bit leggy now. Seen plenty of the ball tonight, a young winger. De Bruyne over the top, trying to find Foden. Meslier comes out, clears into touch. It's all gone a little bit. Where's the whistle, ref?
Yeah, he needs to blow it now. That's it, done.
As you say though, Sean, plenty of encouragement for Leeds.
Yeah,
here.
loads of it. Taking it into the next period of games. You know, it's always going to be hard playing against the top team.
Next up for Leeds, it's Newcastle United away from home, followed by a really interesting game here against West Ham, a team that are really struggling right now, the Hammers, so Leeds will fancy their chances there. FA Cup against Cardiff City. There's the final whistle, and and it's a victory for Manchester City, which takes them back to second in the Premier League table, above Newcastle and still behind Arsenal, the leaders. Update for them is Everton, followed by a trip to Chelsea. They play them again in the FA Cup, and then it's the Manchester derby mid-January. Worthy winners, but not as easy as all that.
No, definite worthy winners. Started off really quick. The intentions were there early. Missed some key opportunities to get that early goal, but very destructive with the goals they did score. Thought Grealish was excellent. I know he was disappointed not to get his goal, but again, we're talking about Erling Haaland and the amount of chances he's had tonight. He could have got 6.
I know you mentioned earlier on you still feel like Man City are going to win the league, and I don't think many people listening around the world would disagree with that. Even Arsenal fans will still be thinking they're Man City and the squad's incredible. For Leeds, do you think they'll be in trouble?
I think they'll always have to look over the shoulder, because that's the nature of the Premier League. I don't think too many teams can automatically say they're never going to be involved in the relegation, Leeds being one of them teams. I do think there's a big window coming up for a lot of teams, Leeds being one of them. I think they've got to bring reinforcements in for the second half of the season.
A little hug there in midfield between Jesse Marsch and Erling Haaland, who worked together previously at Salzburg. Would annoy me if I was a Leeds fan, that I think. Do that in the tunnel, maybe in the bar afterwards. On the pitch, we've just lost 3-1. Not meant to be happy, Jesse.
The game's changed, Tom.
Yeah, it's got worse.
Yeah.
You should still be furious.
Jesse
Marsch is always furious.
Players are now exchanging shirts at half time. We've got to get with the modern time.
I know. Could you ever give your shirt away, even at full time?
No one wanted mine, Tom.
Sean Derry, always a pleasure. Thank you very much indeed, the former Leeds midfielder and Crystal Palace first team coach. We are back with you on Friday. Liverpool against Leicester and the Hammers against